Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan circled around the island. As a checkpoint, this place still had many cultivators constructing a marketplace for transactions. Generally speaking, this was an exchange for information and such. At last, following someone's introduction, Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan arrived at a hillside restaurant named the Peace and Happiness Inn. The Peace and Happiness Inn's restaurant had many cultivators entering and leaving. Having continuously flown for so long, Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan felt very tired. Entering, they sat at a table. Su Xing assessed the restaurant's interior. It was considerably clean, and many cultivators selected some food and wine to gorge themselves on, chatting spiritedly. Although the cultivators had already reached a realm of abstaining from food, the majority of cultivators still were incapable of escaping their hunger. Su Xing originally wanted to simply listen and gather whatever information he could. However, he found that what these cultivators discussed was relatively boring, with no juicy topics at all. Rumors of the star duels or the Black Turtle territory were pitifully sparse, yet after Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan stepped into the restaurant, the other cultivators cast considerably fearful glances at them. It was no wonder, for any way it was put, two supercluster ancestors appearing was enough to make people feel they were confronting a powerful foe. But what was even more present in the eyes of these cultivators was envy. Su Xing did not mind. "Are you two guests stopping for a meal or staying the night?" A lithe-bodied woman daintily walked over, her expression gazing at Su Xing with much allure, making Zhao Hanyan quite unhappy. Zhao Hanyan frowned. "Is this a restaurant or a brothel?" The woman retracted her charm and showed an unsightly expression. "Choose some random wine and meat. While you are at it, book 2 rooms." Zhao Hanyan saw that the time of day was already very late, and she did not wish to hasten on their journey. Su Xing did not object. "All right then, the arrangements will be made immediately." The woman's smile was somewhat charming, especially that slender waist that made men drool with desire. "Are the women of the Black Turtle territory all so formidable?" Su Xing could not help but follow her with his gaze. Although the woman meticulously hid her cultivation, using seeing clearly, she actually was a surprising supercluster stage. "Perhaps she has practiced some devil arts, be on your guard," Zhao Hanyan warned. Thereupon, she said, "The Black Turtle territory's devil cults are myriad, especially with the over-exaggerated influence of the Devil Star Palace. You had best be careful not to expose your identity as a Star Master." Su Xing naturally understood. The Devil Star Palace was renowned as the Black Turtle territory's #1 Devil Palace. Under its wing was the Star Master, Great Saint Starkiller. If their identities as Star Masters were discovered, perhaps these devil cult disciples would be like a gangrenous maggot that allowed them no peace of mind. However, the Black Turtle territory's Black Turtle Sea has millions of islets, which are actually good places for cultivation. Zhao Hanyan said. "What place should we choose for our immortals' abodes?" Su Xing asked her. Zhao Hanyan already had plans. She thought for a moment, "We have only just entered the Black Turtle territory just now. If we quicken our speed, we can arrive in 10 days. However, the prerequisite is that we cannot allow anyone to sense our attempt. Otherwise, we definitely will be thwarted and things will be troublesome then." Su Xing also understood this point, so the two concealed their identities, not revealing their star generals to the public. This road still required flights across sea after sea. Along the way, they perhaps would encounter some demon beasts. If they delayed like this, 10 days perhaps would not work. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. A half-month's time seemed completely insufficient. "What, you seem very anxious." Zhao Hanyan felt this was strange. "There's some things." Su Xing nodded, not wishing to speak more. "If you encounter trouble, just tell this princess. Do not forget that you and I are bound by the 1,000-year intertwined branches. This princess certainly does not wish to encounter a crisis and idle absolutely ignorantly." Zhao Hanyan warned. Su Xing smiled. These words made him feel comfort in his heart, but to tell her the truth? To have her become enemies with Maiden Mountain? Su Xing felt it was better to not implicate her. I have my own propriety. Zhao Hanyan understood Su Xing's personality. She nodded silently. Very quickly, the mistress sent the wine and food over, along with an additional bottle of fine liquor. Your servant is this place's lady boss, Mainyang. Just now, your servant took bold liberties with the two guests. This is a bit of Mainyang's generosity. Mainyang's person was charming as her name. She had a flattering smile, bright brows that were quite alluring, as if she was born of the heavens. Zhao Hanyan disliked her licentious attitude, but since the other person's smiling face expressed her apology, the Ling Yan princess could not easily say anything. She merely silently nodded. Your servant is busy. Both of you, do not hesitate to command your servant. Mainyang shall first go to prepare your beds. Mainyang smiled. Then thanks. Mainyang ascended the building not at all to go prepare their beds, but instead she walked past a corridor, arriving at a private booth on the second floor. That flattering smile concealed a slightly aroused killing intent. Dear husband, what about those two? Inside the room sat an immaculate and handsome black-clothed man. Parting the curtain to glance at Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan, seeing the woman enter, the man smiled. Mainyang, what do you feel? To be supercluster cultivation at such a young age, if they were not star masters, then they are world-shocking geniuses. Mainyang said. Regardless of whichever one, tonight they will become our meal, will they not? The man smiled. Dear husband has but truly planned everything. That woman is quite shrewish. Perhaps eating her will not be that easy. Mainyang sat on a chair, her snow-white thigh exposed from that part in her qipao. It seems those things that we collected can now be put to good use. The man nodded, imposing. Mainyang's eyes amorously rolled about. Dear husband, do you truly plan to use that? And, I feel that woman will be exceptionally delectable. The man licked his lips, grinning widely. Humph. Mainyang feigned jealousy. That man is quite elegant. Mainyang certainly will not be modest. Do not hesitate to go do it. Right, the nest-stifling powder, too, is ready for use. The man reminded. Mainyang's smile drove all things mad. She walked over and used both her hands to rest the man's head within her plump chest. Mainyang has already done so. Su Xing opened the door and sized up the room. The room was decorated actually very exquisitely. There was a large bed with carvings, a tiger-patterned desk and chair, and on the desk were lit some dim candles. The room was very clean. This princess shall sleep first. Zhao Hanyan yawned, somewhat exhausted. She immediately waked to the adjacent room and shut the door. Continuing to rush, Su Xing was quite beat. Sitting on the soft bed, a feeling of weariness suddenly attacked him. Little Yi, little Huang. Su Xing called several times, finding that there was no response from inside the star nest. Most probably, 7 days of rushing had tired them out. Along the way, they encountered many 10th-rank demon beasts, which was exhausting. Su Xing smiled, and he disturbed them no more. However, just in case, Su Xing still set down a forbid dance inside the room. Only then did he lower his head to sleep. In his dream, Su Xing had a very savory wet dream. He dreamed that he and Zhao Hanyan waged a great war absolutely naked on their flying swords. The Ling Yan princess appeared to have unprecedented passion, endlessly seeking him. Suddenly Zhao Hanyan's amorous and rippling beauty became the appearance of the peace and happiness in's owner, Mainyang. The woman's thighs clamped around him tightly, and a powerful feeling of bliss seemed to wash over Su Xing like a tide. Su Xing only felt that all of the star energy in his whole body was seemingly sucked away like passing river water. The happy feeling reached an unbearable discomfort. Su Xing suddenly opened his eyes. In his face, he saw a woman seemingly alluring from head to toe. She currently straddled upon Su Xing's body, her hands gently caressing Su Xing's chest. She was indeed the peace and happiness in's proprietress, Mainyang. Can't move. Su Xing suddenly noticed that his hands and feet were incapable of budging, and there was currently a bizarre feeling of ecstasy surging through his blood, as if it was about to break out of his body. This feeling was very uncomfortable. Su Xing activated the soul technique. Maidens kissed Su Xing, her tone intimate, "Little dearest, don't struggle. Obediently engage Maidens tonight." Impossible. Su Xing was shocked to find his immediate use of the absolute sincerity soul technique was incapable of suppressing the desire exploding in his body. "What did you do to me?" Su Xing said with difficulty. Outstanding, as expected, to unexpectedly suppress the charm fire of the 7 emotions 6 desires spice. Maidens licked her lips. Her hand felt the raging blood in Su Xing's body, rubbing her legs together. Suddenly, Maidens lowered her head, gazing directly at Su Xing. Her expression was just like a bottomless pit, full of allure. "Little dearest, obediently enjoy ecstasy with Maidens." Su Xing was currently using all his power to circulate the absolute sincerity soul technique. Maidens suddenly opened her mouth, and a kind of powerful sucking force immediately made Su Xing unable to help but open his mouth as well. Then, his essence qi immediately flowed out from his body. Like a deflated balloon, Su Xing only felt weak. Not good. This woman feasts on essence qi. Su Xing was inwardly shocked. This woman used some unknown magic to surprisingly convert his whole body's magic energy into essence qi. Then, she sucked it away. Su Xing promptly used the absolute sincerity soul technique to suppress the hormones in his body. Only by doing this could he resist. Absorbing for several dozen seconds, Maidens felt very dissatisfied. She looked at Su Xing without that charm from before. "It seems you have some ability." However, this 7 feelings 6 desires spice was refined using 10,000 year in milk. 3. No one in the world can resist it. 10,000 year in milk, Su Xing inwardly shouted that he was out of luck. 10,000 year in milk was a milk obtained from a type of demon beast that dwelled in the ocean depths. It was a kind of supreme yin-inducing medicine. And Suan required 3 types of medicine materials in order to refine the yin-yang love-making powder. They were divided into Supreme Yang, Supreme Yin, and the middleness. Su Xing knew a bit, and in the case this kind of 10,000 year Yin milk was absorbed into the body, even a saint was incapable of breaking free. Su Xing thought that the candles on that table had it secretly refined within. He never would have anticipated that the woman in front of him would surprisingly have this sort of item so defiant of the natural order. Su Xing did his utmost to circulate the soul technique to res it. Maidens charmingly smiled. She suddenly lowered her head and kissed Su Xing. This kiss immediately made the soul technique collapse. Violent desire once again surged. Through her lips and tongue, Maidens began to wantonly absorb the essence qi in Su Xing's body. Under this sort of speed, he absolutely would be sucked dry as a kernel. Su Xing did not expect to encounter this sort of thing. Secretly, he called out for Yan Yizhen and Gong Sun Huang inside the star nest, only to discover his connection with them was severed. There was a complete lack of response. This peace and happiness in clearly was a murder in. Everything had been arranged perfectly. In order to make Su Xing's lust erupt, Maidens undid each of their clothes, exposing her impressive figure. That ample bosom continuously rubbed against him, and those small and exquisite cherries, 5, were long already incomparably hard, little by little crumbling down Su Xing's resistance. Maidens' hands were not idle either. One went downwards, feeling between Su Xing's thighs, playing with it. 6. Su Xing groaned, somewhat unable to persist. The 7 feelings 6 desires spice inherently was unexcelled in inducing lust, and being fondled so maddeningly by Maidens like this was adding grease to the fire. Su Xing only felt his whole body seem to burn like fire. Su Xing forcefully composed himself, once again using the meditative mind lotus flower, resisting the charm magic by means of Buddhism. Maidens' supple tongue wound around his for a while. She then noticed that the essence qi was increasingly a trickle, and she felt great disbelief. Ordinarily, even if she was facing a supercluster cultivator, so long as they opened their mouth, she could easily absorb their essence chi. Not only was she unable to tonight, winding their lips and tongues together was somewhat lacking in force. Sure enough, he was a star master. Mainyang's eyes glinted, and she continued her fervent kiss. Su Xing's face was solemn, like a Buddha's, making Mainyang very disgusted. Let us see just how long you can pretend. Even Buddha would die from excessive ejaculation under this lady's soul allure. 7. Mainyang once again kissed Su Xing, but Su Xing did not react at all, like a wooden dummy. Mainyang was impatient. She lay down on Su Xing's pants. His lower body clearly was already a sky-supporting pillar, yet he could still preserve his essence chi. This honestly was unbelievable. This lady today will specially service you. Saying this, Mainyang's cherry lips parted, and she took Su Xing's thing into her mouth. 8. From that warm orifice came a provocation more terrifying than a kiss or caress. Mainyang's tongue lapped across like a nimble snake, and she began to absorb essence chi. Powerful essence chi immediately was released from little Su Xing. Mainyang's complexion was pink, her deep valley moist, her heart delighted. She promptly bit even more intimately. His clear will suddenly disintegrated. Su Xing understood that today, he had met the crisis of the sucking queen. The hard little Su Xing was wrapped up by her warm mouth, and Su Xing's whole body was completely unable to budge. Gritting his teeth, he suddenly thought of dual cultivation magic. In a moment of desperation, he used the Dharma happiness chan of the meditative mind lotus flower to deeply dual cultivate, beginning to use full power to activate the dual cultivation magic. The Mainyang that was currently lapping up his fluids suddenly felt that the essence chi she was absorbing once again endlessly be sucked back by some sort of suction. Not only this, even her own primordial yin chi began to be absorbed. Mainyang was greatly shocked. She hastily activated at full power her dark rank star magic, soul allure. In order to make Su Xing's lust take even greater control of him, her hands continuously tantalized Su Xing's whole body, and she even used her breasts to rub against little Su Xing. 6. It could even said she exhausted all possible means. She nearly fed the tiger using her own body. The two were in the middle of launching an invisible yet fierce war, their essence chi pulled back and forth. The feeling of pleasure truly was unprecedented. Mainyang's thighs long already were violently flooded, drenching the bed into a vast ocean. However, Su Xing was completely not controlling his lust, he was merely exploiting the magic of dual cultivation, absorbing back whatever Mainyang sucked away. By doing so, the woman seemed to be only serving Su Xing while Mainyang only felt great exhaustion. Following the progression of dual cultivation, the 7 feelings 6 desires spice was increasingly weak. Su Xing sensed that his body was already able to move. Fearing that Zhao Hanyan would have trouble, Su Xing immediately increased the soul technique. Golden lotuses sprouted in the air, sprinkling a Buddhist light. Ah! An endless intensity suddenly surged into Mainyang's throat, yet the woman absorbed everything without shedding a tear as she nearly choked. 10. Hey! After the orgasm passed, Su Xing's body suddenly recovered its freedom. He rose and attacked with a palm. The woman hastily dodged, some milky white liquid still at the side of her lips. In Mainyang's eyes was extreme humiliation, and her expression suddenly changed. Zhang Qing, 11, her body was in pain as she let out a groan, for she was struck down to the lower floor by Su Xing's palm. At the same time, a man's scream came from inside Zhao Hanyan's room. Not good. Su Xing no longer minded her, immediately punching a hole in the wall and rushing through. 12. He saw that Zhao Hanyan wore the colors of spring on her face, her legs powerlessly curled in the corner, her eyes hazy. Thank heavens that the clothes and cap on Zhao Hanyan's whole body were still intact, an appearance of not having suffered violation. In the air, several dozen flying swords protected Zhao Hanyan. Psychic communication flying swords. No wonder. Die! Zhao Hanyan coldly shouted. The flying swords flashed by. In front of her was a fair-skinned man. the man screamed. The psychic flying swords were very powerful, immediately running holes through his body. Sensing the state of the Mainyang from before, Su Xing was already certain this man named Zhang Qing was Mainyang's star master. 13. The man escaped out the window, but he very quickly was cut down by the flying swords. He perhaps had never thought that Zhao Hanyan's flying swords would unexpectedly already be at the psychic communication realm. It was known that to be capable of refining a sword chant to the psychic communication was without exception something only a genius could achieve. Having psychic communication flying swords mean that the master was protected from harm at all times even if the master was to lose consciousness. This was the terror of psychic communication flying swords. Hanyan, are you alright? Su Xing rushed over. The 72 outer void flying immortal swords aimed at Su Xing. Hearing a familiar voice in the haze, only then did Zhao Hanyan retract her hostility, collapsing against Su Xing's chest. Su Xing only felt that the Ling Yan princess' whole body was incomparably scorching, her cheeks an amorous red, the light in her eyes full of sensual desire. Clearly, she also was affected by the 7 feelings 6 desires spice, but she was not as fortunate as Su Xing, who possessed the absolute sincerity soul technique and meditative mind lotus seed. Su Xing hastily transferred the heart clear as mirror realm to Zhao Hanyan. He was full of killing intent towards Mainyang and that man. Dear husband! A scream came from outside the room. Su Xing looked. That Zhang Qing was obviously already at his last breath. Mainyang was currently continuously rocking him, screaming, her alluring expression already long gone. You brought this on yourself. Su Xing wanted to use his flying swords, only to discover the flying swords inside him were incapable of moving. He did not know what thing they used to unexpectedly be able to trap a life-cast flying sword or star nest. Today, I will dismember you two into 10,000 pieces. Mainyang hatefully glared at Su Xing. Suddenly, he saw her open her mouth. That man subconsciously also opened his mouth, and his essence qi was sucked into her mouth. Su Xing felt this was odd. All of a sudden, he sensed the world change. Mainyang's whole body underwent a transformation. Her hands became blade-like claws, and her back sprouted wings. Her gaze was fiendish, and strange markings spread across her skin. Heaven Earth Dark Yellow Skill, Yiksha Lady. 14. Shit. Even though Su Xing already took extreme precaution, he completely did not expect the Mainyang with the Yiksha transformation body would have speed that reached such an unimaginable degree. This woman's movements were so beyond reason, surprisingly accelerating instantly to this degree at such a short distance was simply inconceivable. She flashed by. The room was blown to bits. Dust and ash covered the sky. Su Xing carried Zhao Hanyan and appeared at another place. It was fortunate that Su Xing's thinking had already reacted to the realm of the impossible. He instantly keenly caught onto the opponent's movements. The Yiksha lady coldly glared at Su Xing. Her figure flashed, and Su Xing also threw away the moment to defend. He had no choice. He could only give up his counterattack, lowering his head and evading by conditioned reflex. What a pity. The Yiksha lady honestly was like a monster. Even if she was only a woman, she still was a monster. The Yiksha lady was not the same as other opponents that Su Xing had encountered in the past, the attacks she used not like those of the past. Her right claw's horizontal sweep had not yet ended when her left claw already followed up. The wind pressure pelted him, its degree of power obvious. It pressured Su Xing into only being able to dodge. Whirling around, the Yiksha lady's right claw once again slashed. Such sharpie claws alternately swept, up and down, spin after spin, without any pause. The person practically spun like a pinwheel, continuously without end, pressuring Su Xing into only dodging continuously. Having battled up to now, his chances had unexpectedly completely vanished. He was even nearly unable to put up a defense, for he was completely suppressed by the opponent's terrifying attack. Su Xing's speed surprisingly was completely unable to fully unravel. He even lost the opportunities to instantly shift positions. Under such a swift and flowing assault, Su Xing finally paused for a moment, and the opponent's hand struck his stomach. An enormous power suddenly erupted. Su Xing felt a stifling feeling cram his chest, for a large piece of his flesh was abruptly ripped apart. Die, become funerary offerings for my dear husband. The Yiksha lady raised that arm dripping with blood. Her 5 nails were like razors, glittering, as she furiously yelled. Su Xing calmed the pain in his chest with great difficulty, rising. What a truly deep love. Su Xing sneered. Su Xing's left hand abruptly waved, and with a piercing shriek, an incorporeal purple mansion immortal thunder already attacked with full speed. Su Xing used speed to fight back. The Yiksha lady's figure slightly swayed, once again suddenly sticking close. She had just flashed past that menacing purple mansion immortal thunder when a slim cold light already appeared before his eyes. Just when she was about to grasp Su Xing again, suddenly, Su Xing suddenly accelerated during his attack. The two retreated and advanced, moving swift as the wind, in several breaths' time surprisingly reaching a dead end. Su Xing's fist went forth. The severe attack landed on the Yiksha lady's stomach. The woman vomited blood, her beautiful face contorting. Her body was just like a cannonball, actually flying several dozen meters away, directly slamming apart the tavern's hall. Su Xing swiftly followed, rushing out without any hesitation. When his body landed, the power of the wind his fist lifted was fierce as he ruthlessly smashed down. The Yiksha lady's black wings formed a defense. The two landed on the inn's front lawn. Before the Yiksha lady could react, Su Xing's figure attacked swift as lightning from the Yiksha lady's front. Without any pause, Su Xing's silhouette abruptly rushed towards the Yiksha lady. His clothes fluttered behind him, his speed was so fast. In an instant, he was already under the woman's nose. In the swift and fluttering wind, his fist suddenly punched. A berserk clap of purple thunder resounded. Bang! The Yiksha lady's reactions were extremely quick, surprisingly blocking with her right hand, blocking Su Xing's punch and the thunder filling the sky. Humph! A cold snort of contempt. The Yiksha lady's other hand was the same, and her wings became blades that continuously swept. The attacks of her hands were like whips. Not only were they abnormally fierce, their movements were linked together without any gaps. This could be rated as perfect to the limit. Seeing that Yiksha lady's attack was so brilliant, Su Xing was in secret admiration. To have this level of combat ability right now was thanks to battle doctrine and the battle discipline honed from battles with countless star generals. This star general appeared to very terrifying, completely not at a disadvantage. His hair had been blown into a mess by the intense wind. Su Xing carrying Zhao Hanyan restricted his movements. Once again, he coldly yelled, and unleashed a purple mansion immortal thunder. The Yiksha lady instantly completed an evasion and counterattack movement. Her body became a black shadow, dodging Su Xing's every attack, ruthlessly attacking him. Su Xing was sent flying. A dark weapon appeared in the Yiksha lady's hand. Upon seeing it, Su Xing drew in a breath. No way, it's unexpectedly her. Su Xing was very shocked, practically incapable of believing this. Mainyang's right hand gripped a black trident. That trident had an Azura demon's form, its body seemingly soaked in blood. In the faintly discernible red bloodlight, 4 stars twinkled. This was the blood sacrifice Azura trident. Not outside of expectations, she was the 103rd ranked strong star female Yiksha Sun Ernyang. 2. But, this alone was not likely to make Su Xing feel flabbergasted. In actuality, in Sun Ernyang's left hand, she similarly held a star weapon. That star weapon was a barbed whip. This whip had 3 snake heads, its entire body a gloomy green color ignited with a verdant flame. It had 3 stars. Astonishingly, this was the 102nd ranked Execute Star Gardener Zhang Qing's 3-star weapon, Skin Flaying Torture Heavenly Whip. What was going on? Su Xing never thought that a star general could use another star general's star weapon. Sun Ernyang's star master was also named Zhang Qing, however, Su Xing had never believed that this skin-flaying torture heavenly whip was his. Flipping his hand, he brought out the birth treasure outline. The female Yiksha Sun Mainyang held a trident in one hand and raised a whip in the other, not giving Su Xing the chance. Even though he did not know what Sun Ernyang had put inside the wine and food, she had not only sealed the star nest, even his life-cast flying swords were also sealed. Su Xing did not have flying swords of the psychic communication realm that Zhao Hanyan had. He could only prepare to activate a magic weapon. More than 50 outer void flying immortal swords abruptly flew out, crisscrossing as they attacked, blocking Sun Mainyang. Quickly. Zhao Hanyan's tone was like silk, feebly speaking. Su Xing hastily used the birth treasure outline, its golden light shining. Star position, strong star, 5, star name, Sun Ernyang, 6, nickname, female Yiksha, 7, true name, Sun Mainyang, 8, rank, 103rd right-hand star weapon, blood sacrifice soul-absorbing trident, 9, 4 star, left-hand star weapon, skin-flaying torture heavenly whip, 4 star, 11, star beast, scarlet azura realm, 10,000 technique second stage innate skill, essence absorption, 12, 5 elements, wood yellow rank special move, spirit captivation, 13, dark rank special move. Soul allure current status, no contractor, can be conquered, heaven earth dark yellow skill, Yiksha lady, 14, detailed materials, Yiksha lady, can absorb all of a star maiden's essence chi to undergo transformation into Yiksha lady, martial force realm all-around upgraded no contractor. Su Xing was shocked. Then the person Zhao Hanyan cut down was a star general. Gardener Zhang Qing. Su Xing carefully looked at that man collapsed on the ground taking his dying breaths. Only then did he notice that the other party's complexion was immaculate and even somewhat effeminate. His body had many wounds cut open by flying swords. Surprisingly, she was a woman dressed as a man. Today, your flesh and blood will be remuneration for shower. 16. Mainyang was unable to restrain her anger. The two star weapons danced together, immediately beating back Zhao Hanyan's flying swords. The Ling Yan princess consciousness was basically not too clear. The 72 outer void flying immortal swords also did not have much usefulness. The female Yiksha also did not expect to surprisingly encounter the Zhao Hanyan capable of psychic communication flying swords. Falling into a conclusion where her dear husband had been seriously injured, so as to avenge Shang Shao, Sun Mainyang transformed into the Azura Yiksha without hesitation and pounced. The skin-flaying torture heavenly whip drew back and struck, the snake's fangs coiling towards Su Xing. A sinister astral wind seemingly was pulled to bits and pieces by the whip and intercepted Su Xing outside his range. However, even if he could force his way through, he was not too certain. Confronting a 10,000 technique second stage star general, Su Xing thought to himself this sort of star general was far from being a foe he could emerge victorious over as of now. He hastily evaded the snake whip. Mainyang's wings flapped, and the other star weapon blood sacrifice soul-absorbing trident rolled out a bloodlight still shot towards Su Xing's stomach. Su Xing snapped his fingers. A purple mansion immortal thunder dissolved into this bloodlight, but the snake whip seized this gap and drew across Su Xing's body. An acute pain accompanied the venomous fangs that bit into his blood vessels. Fortunately, his body had a detoxification pearl that suppressed poisons. 17. Sai Xing then spat out essence blood, becoming the heaven and earth inverted boxing gloves. His palms caught the bloody trident. Dragon punch. Both fists whistled with an eerie dragon roar. Su Xing's figure was immediately pulled long and thin, seemingly transforming into a dragon. Fast. The dragon cry directly shook Mainyang's abdomen, beating back the female Yiksha. Su Xing's second fist followed directly after. His wrist suddenly stiffened, for the skin-flaying torture heavenly whip wound around Su Xing's boxing technique. Sun Mainyang oddly sneered. The whip's poison light ignited, pouncing towards Su Xing and becoming a blaze that wreaked havoc as it devoured Su Xing's star energy, burning Su Xing into a sky lantern. Dark rank technique, Sky Lantern Sacrifice. 18. Sun Mainyang's eyes glinted with cold light. Just at this moment, suddenly, the poison fire dispersed. Su Xing's body technique suddenly mysteriously changed. His body technique abruptly accelerated, as if space had been distorted. She obviously saw that Su Xing should have been burnt to a crisp by the Sky Lantern sacrifice, but now it appeared that Su Xing had already broken free of the poison fire. Speed? Reaction? No, that already was not something reactions could do. Dark rank technique. Sun Mainyang was astonished. Immediately, she saw that the star weapons on Su Xing's fists emitted a familiar imposing air. Watch this. Sun Ernyang was unconcerned. Raising the blood sacrifice soul-absorbing trident, the blood light in front of her suddenly dispersed. Each ray of blood light was sharper than a blade. But Su Xing wandered about indeterminately in space, making Sun Mainyang completely land on nothing. Her forehead dripped with cold sweat. By the time Sun Mainyang sensed it, she was already too late. Su Xing's fists directly struck her in the abdomen, throwing down Sun Mainyang's arrogant body, her mouth hanging agape. It was the dark rank, heaven and earth inverted. Su Xing's wrist flipped, and the 1,000-year intertwined branch sword in passing stabbed at Sun Mainyang's heart. The Yiksha transformation body of the Sun Mainyang who had suffered a heavy blow was 10,000 techniques realm, after all. Her silhouette quickly disappeared into the dark night. Not good. Su Xing was too late turn around, his fists directly blocking. His gloves directly caught the female Yiksha's attack. Thereupon, several wounds deep enough to see bone appeared on his body, courting death. Sun Mainyang's trident stabbed. Damn it, too fast. Su Xing hastily evaded, nearly being stabbed through the heart, once again sensing the terror of a 10,000 techniques realm star general. This was different from previous sparring session. This was a life or death battle, completely without any leeway. Su Xing's escape technique disappeared backwards. Sun Mainyang only slightly stepped forth to pursue. In 10,000 techniques realm, escape was a completely senseless action. Not being able to use flying swords greatly restricted Su Xing's abilities. Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder continuously flew out. The purple lotus flowers were also unable to obstruct Sun Mainyang's aggression. Let this lady finally serve you. The female Yiksha suddenly pounced forth. The snake whip directly sealed Su Xing's route. Su Xing did not change expression. His two palms clapped together, and suddenly, a golden lotus blossomed in the air. Treasure kshetras and bodhi emerged in large numbers, and limitless lotus flowers blossomed layer after layer. Blinding Buddhist light shone on the entire cross island, making Sun Mainyang very uncomfortably pause for a moment. Vajra Evil Smiting Palm. Su Xing's palm was brandished, and a giant Buddhist palm mark descended. The 5 dragons colored glass lantern could comprehend Buddhism's countless secret techniques and abilities. The Vajra Evil Smiting Staff was the bounty of these past dozen days. However, the Vajra Evil Smiting Palm did not constitute a threat to Sun Mainyang as far as she was concerned. The blood sacrifice soul-absorbing trident directly stirred the Buddhist palm to pieces, however, Su Xing only seized the opportunity to fight for a bit of time. Taking advantage of this moment, he unleashed countless Purple Mansion Immortal Thunders. A booming explosion stuck Sun Mainyang's body. Insignificant trick. Sun Mainyang sneered, rushing out of the Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder. Although she cut somewhat of a sorry figure, her imposing air did not diminish. The attack instantly arrived. Su Xing took up a defensive stance, but at nearly that split second, Sun Mainyang's silhouette already disappeared. Su Xing was slightly surprised. The female Yiksha wore a cool smile at that moment. She already stuck behind him, her 2 claws slashing. Su Xing's reactions also absolutely exceeded Sun Mainyang's imagination. In her perspective, Star Masters being closed in on by 10,000 Techniques Realm Martial Force Star Generals was akin to being slaughtered, let alone a merely supercluster stage Star Master, but the man in front of her possessed a sort of sense of battle against Star Generals that surpassed the normal. The strong star female Yaksha Sun Mainyang was too late to ponder as to what was happening. 10,000 Techniques Realm speed was even faster, and she instantly turned into a phantom that could not be thought over. Her figure wobbled, however, in an instant, her entire figure became indistinct, dreamlike and illusory. Both sides barely stopped for a few seconds. Light flashed in her eyes, and instantly, that pouncing overwhelming attack already came before Su Xing. Su Xing was exceptionally calm. He turned his hand, and taking a half-turn, he skillfully evaded Sun Mainyang's oppression. Then, he seized the opportunity to turn from defender to aggressor. The divine sword in his hand carved a brilliant attack in the dark night. But his attack could only penetrate a shallow half-inch into Sun Mainyang's space, unable to move in any further. As the strong star, it was unknown the number of Star Masters Sun Mainyang used her frightening innate skill essence absorption on to suck away star energy from. To reach supercluster stage under a no-contract status was absolutely frightening. Powerful star energy formed a barrier that protected against Su Xing's fist's attacks, making him unable to take another half-step further. Meanwhile, Sun Mainyang's two star weapons crossed and revolted. Again, there were several unbearably painful wounds. "This lady shall kill your woman then." Sun Mainyang was somewhat anxious in her heart when she saw she was incapable of resolving the situation. Her heaven-earth dark yellow skill already could not persist for too long. Her heart was unreconciled, and she suddenly attacked the unbearably debilitated Zhao Hanyan. Su Xing's chaotic tail escape technique protected Zhao Hanyan. The acute pain of the chaotic tail escape nearly made Su Xing lose consciousness. He forcefully endured the pain. He grabbed the Four Symbols seal and the Earth Book, preparing to use them. Originally, he had wanted to wait until he harvested materials to use these prehistoric spirit treasures again. Now, it seemed he already had no choice. Die. A baleful aura instantly closed down on him. At the same time, the jadeite light rays of the intertwined branch sword in Su Xing's hand magnified. Sparkling green branches and vines appeared in the air that wrapped Su Xing within. Su Xing was amazed to sense the divine sword in his hand was in resonance. Countless vines and green leaves in Su Xing's surroundings formed an endlessly multiplying defense. Sun Mainyang's attack completely was intercepted. The divine sword in his hand shuddered even more intensely. Su Xing immediately sensed Zhao Hanyan's feelings inside from this intertwined branch. His hand relaxed, and the intertwined branch flew into the air. The two intertwined branches formed a green bridge, continuously covering Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan, opening jadeite leaves in the black night. After all, it was the 1,000-year divine sword. Sun Mainyang instantly sensed the terrifying power seep into her limbs and bones. The female Yaksha's complexion changed. She suddenly flew backwards, taking hold of the dying gardener Zhang Shao and using all her strength to escape. "The one to die is you." A feeble voice interrupted. The 2,000-year divine swords let out a clear cry. Sun Mainyang was greatly afraid. She saw green light flash, and immediately, there was a blood-curdling scream. Two crimson stars fell at the same time. The stars divided and fell into Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan's bodies. A malevolent bloody beast suddenly appeared in midair. Its blood-red eyes coldly glared at Su Xing. This was Sun Mainyang's star beast, the Scarlet Azura. Generally speaking, the majority of star beasts would fall into evil smiting hall following their master's starfall. However, there were also some star beasts that possessed higher levels of awareness that so long as they broke free of a star general before the fall, they could be safe and sound. This Scarlet Azura was clearly one of them. Its four strange arms seemed like long snakes that grabbed hold of Sun Mainyang and Zhang Zhao's star weapons, and then it escaped 1,000 li away as a streak of bloodlight. It was too late for the Su Xing who wanted to give chase but was currently surrounded by the intertwined branch swords. He could only watch helplessly as the Scarlet Azura stole the weapons and fled. Su Xing thought to himself that this was a pity. However, star weapons were only designated for star generals and star masters to use. They were but merely trash to the Scarlet Azura that had taken them. The intertwined branch swords returned to above Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan. The green bridge connected their minds, and it overflowed with life. The surrounding green leaves and vines successively dispersed. Zhao Hanyan groaned, storing away the sword chant. "Hanyan, are you all right?" Su Xing flashed to her front, supporting her with his arm. "You used that chaotic tail escape again?" Zhao Hanyan was aghast to see Su Xing covered in cuts all over his body. Her brows wrinkled. Before she had mentioned it, he was fine. Once she brought it up, Su Xing then felt grimacing pain. "Just now, in short, is nothing wrong with your body?" Zhao Hanyan's cheeks were colored like peach plums, entirely showing an attractive appearance. The 7 feelings 6 desires spice obviously was not that easy to get rid of. The Ling Yan princess stared at Su Xing. She struck a hand seal, and the intertwined branch sword's green light wandered about. The 2 swords intersected. The green bridge pierced their hearts, pouring spiritual power into their souls. Instantly, Su Xing and Ling Yan Princess Zhao Hanyan were immersed within. Su Xing was amazed to sense that their spiritual powers were seemingly cooperating. In the endless green light, the wounds on Su Xing's body visibly rapidly healed, without even the slightest scar remaining. When Su Xing looked to Zhao Hanyan, the Ling Yan princess' pale complexion had already regained color. Her lovely red had already quietly retreated. The green light receded, and the intertwined branch sword then fell heavily into Su Xing's hand. This is the function of this intertwined branch sword. Su Xing could discern it. And, so long as each party is willing, this intertwined branch sword can apportion our life force. Zhao Hanyan glanced at Su Xing, noticing this man actually did not selfishly share life with her. Otherwise, she completely would have been unable to wield this consequence of the intertwined branch swords. So it turned out to be this. Su Xing exclaimed. He felt some regret. Sharing life force to recover each other's injuries was indeed very incredible, but the opposite party had to lose half of their star energy. Otherwise, it would have been comparable to Ensuan's life returning magic hands. Are you regretting that this princess is unable to let you cure that aphrodisiac? Zhao Hanyan mockingly said. This aphrodisiac plot is too melodramatic. Actually, I personally still hope for mutual consent. Su Xing righteously replied. Humph. Zhao Hanyan had an "who would believe you" expression. The star nest has been sealed. Do you have any good ideas? Su Xing asked her. The star nest has been sealed. Zhao Hanyan tested, and as expected, she could not hear Dong Juanqing's response. No wonder, to unexpectedly even have this sort of poison that can seal the star nest. I wonder how it can be cured. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. Zhao Hanyan appeared to not take this seriously. Although the martial force of earthly stars is weak, the majority of spiritual energy-type star generals are among the earthly stars. They have talents and abilities that, if used appropriately, disposing a heavenly star is not impossible. This included gardener Zhang Qing. With her ability to grow some star nest sealing medicines and such, this was not a hard problem. In Zhao Hanyan's perspective, this probably was the legendary nest stifling. During nest stifling, star generals and star masters would sever all contact. To cure this was very simple, simply wait for time to pass. It appears this black turtle territory is indeed dangerous. This princess did not expect to encounter Sun Ernyang and Zhang Qing here. Zhao Hanyan muttered. Suddenly, the Ling Yan princess' eyes flashed with a clear light as she gazed at Su Xing. At this time, Su Xing was currently trying to rouse the beauties inside the star nest, and he did not see the ripple of pensiveness that flowed through Zhao Hanyan's eyes. Su Xing, this princess wishes to ask you a question. Zhao Hanyan pondered for a moment, and then she spoke. What question? Seeing there really was no way, Su Xing could only give up. Do you know where the significance of the star duels lies? Zhao Hanyan said in a low voice. What do you want to ask? Su Xing frowned. The final phase of Maiden Mountain star duels will have the 7 stars assembly, but there can only be one final victor, you must understand. You want to say that since there can only be one final victor, the rest must necessarily die in battle? Su Xing chuckled. Zhao Hanyan affirmed. In other words, regardless of how close their relationship was, when the time came, things would be you die and I live. There absolutely was no second possibility. This was the karma of the past 1,000 years. Even the previous generation's overlord Wusong was unable to avoid it. When Su Xing saw that Zhao Hanyan was serious, he thought for a moment. He also earnestly replied, then since we have signed the 1,000-year contract, could it be we are to die together in the name of love at the very end? You wish to die together with this princess in the name of love? Zhao Hanyan's smile carried a slight charm. Are you so willing to part with your star generals? Do I have to make a choice about parting or not? Su Xing did not accept this. If you and I aren't enemies, then what about it? That Maiden Mountain will not sit idly by. Zhao Hanyan answered. Then that's it. There is obviously the third choice, break the rules. Su Xing smiled. Zhao Hanyan's mouth hung agape. Her heart was suddenly beat ruthlessly upon by something. Her chest tightened, choked into speechlessness. She gazed at Su Xing with eyes full of disbelief. Break the rules? She had never thought about this. More so, never had a star master ever dared to think about it. Zhao Hanyan wanted to say arrogant, naive, courting death, and other words to strike down Su Xing, but when she saw Su Xing's careless expression, that hidden and rarely seen seriousness, the Ling Yan princess understood, this man was not lying. He is mad, he is truly mad, however, this princess likes it. Not knowing if it was the last vestiges of the 7 feelings 6 desires spice in her body causing mischief, Zhao Hanyan only felt her body grow hot and her heart pound endlessly. The Ling Yan princess delicately walked over to Su Xing, her manner universally charming. A virgin's delicate fragrance poured into his soul, provoking confusion. Just as Su Xing was feeling flabbergasted, the Ling Yan princess smiled sweetly. She gently hugged Su Xing's head and pulled it downwards, that medicine still has not completely been cured from this princess body. From now on, you are this princess man. In Su Xing's astonishment, Zhao Hanyan opened her mouth and kissed him, a tyrannical, hot kiss. The 7 feelings 6 desires spice that he was already close to suppressing after much difficulty once again made a resurgence following Zhao Hanyan's kiss. Yang fire bubbled forth and burned across Su Xing's whole body. The Ling Yan princess' warm and fragrant bosom, her passionately entwining tongue, how could Su Xing control himself? Moreover, both of them who could sign the 1,000-year contract had good feelings toward each other. It could not be said that their minds were in psychic understanding, but at the minimum, their hearts could harmonize. In Su Xing's brief shock, he immediately still attacked. Both his hands stroked Zhao Hanyan's back. As he ravaged the Ling Yan princess' red lips, exchanging saliva, Su Xing tore open the lapel to Zhao Hanyan's palace dress. Her light purple exquisite bodice immediately was exposed, frankincense permeating the whole place, more arousing than those aphrodisiac panaceas. Su Xing's hand parted the bodice and grasped those jutting mountains, feeling the Ling Yan princess' formidable fullness. Zhao Hanyan's body restlessly squirmed, somewhat unbearable. This time, without the steadfast star's interference, the two of them could be said to be fishes back in the water. The palace skirt was peeled off. The Ling Yan princess' light purple silken underwear was embroidered with beautiful roses, her tempting curves completely visible. Beneath the half-transparent silk, Su Xing could slightly see the secret garden that lay underneath. 2. Su Xing's mouth was dry, his yang fire burned, and his body swelled incredibly. Although the man in front of her had once embraced her naked body, even witnessing twice the scene of her and Dong Junqing engaged in lovemaking, it was reasonable to say that Zhao Hanyan ought to be accustomed. This time, however, they were nevertheless seriously treating each other sincerely. Zhao Hanyan was a bit bashful, her hands hastily hugging her chest to cover her light purple bodice. Her whole face blushed red as if it were aflame. She lightly bit her red lips. If in the future you dare flirt with other women, this princess certainly will not forgive you. Then isn't that too bad? Su Xing lifted his head. Shut up. Zhao Hanyan's body slightly shuddered. Although she had sex with Dong Junqing many times now, this was her first time with the opposite sex, after all. Just the masculine qi of the man before her sharply contrasting with Dong Junqing was enough to make Zhao Hanyan somewhat incessantly dizzy, ecstatic even more fiercely than before. Her underwear already had a wet mark. The Ling Yan princess pushed Su Xing to the ground, straddled and mounted him. Her hands wound around to her back and began to undo the thin knots at her neck and at the small of her back. Zhao Hanyan felt a flow of heat at the place where that evil thing of Su Xing's lower body touched her, only feeling that her whole body was limp and powerlessly about to collapse. Su Xing was already completely attracted by Zhao Hanyan's half-respectable and half-graceful seductive appearance. The knots were untied, and the bodice immediately fell loose. Zhao Hanyan bashfully went, "Ah," one hand covering her fair and ample chest. "Turn away, you." Zhao Hanyan was left somewhat at a loss of what to do by Su Xing's hot gaze. Su Xing smiled. He rose and felt past Zhao Hanyan's arms. Zhao Hanyan gasped in surprise. Her tender breasts stood erect, full of well-proportioned beauty. Her light pink color, 5, was charming and arousing, making Su Xing's blood vessels swell at the sight. He opened his mouth and greedily sucked them. This kiss nearly sucked away all of the strength in Zhao Hanyan's whole body. The Ling Yan princess' hands grabbed Su Xing's head, the expression on her face one of both pleasure and pain. Her underwear was gently pushed past her knees. Below her snow-white belly was a black and mesmerizing underbrush. That place of fragrant and luxuriant bush truly made him feel excited and itched to immediately peel that underbrush open, to peep into the mysterious place that allured his soul. Her snow-white and gracefully curving slender legs and her perfectly round and jutting but both brimmed with an elasticity. How could Zhao Hanyan's sensitive places stand such provocation? An electric current passed through her whole body, and she could not help but moan. "Wifey Hanyan, I'll come in." Su Xing maintained the last bit of reason. "Humph." Zhao Hanyan's amorously glanced at Su Xing suddenly. She flipped her body and swapped their positions, the man on bottom and the woman on top. With a red face, she said, "This princess does not wish to be squashed beneath you. This princess will come conquer you herself." 6. To Zhao Hanyan's slight arrogance, Su Xing chuckled. Zhao Hanyan's hands trembled. Staring at Su Xing, she slowly sat down. The Ling Yan princess' brows knit tighter and tighter the deeper she penetrated. It was just like her narrow valley was being pierced by a fiery, sharp sword, incredibly painful. Fortunately, the moisture of her boundless sea alleviated the heat. So painful, this princess cannot anymore. Zhao Hanyan's brows were tightly furrowed, showing she was afraid. However, at this time, he already could not help her. Su Xing's lust flowed like a deluge. He grabbed the girl's waist, suddenly and forcefully straightening his back. There was a cry signifying the end of purity. Zhao Hanyan's eyes were full of tears, both painfully and joyfully. She cursed, "Lord husband, you shameless pervert," and then she welcomed her lord husband's revenge attack. 2. Although Zhao Hanyan wished to use the top position to conquer Su Xing, in the end, she still had no way to contend against the feelings of her body. She obediently stuck her supple butt up in the shameful position that the arrogant princess did not detest at all, concluding this deep intimacy. Although the Ling Yan princess enjoyed Su Xing's attacks, her mouth still cursed him. After several torrents of his river poured into her valley. Zhao Hanyan had already lost all her strength, not wanting to lift even a finger, and the life of the giant vines that the intertwined branch swords formed enveloping the two was increasingly bright. The aura of the life force endlessly poured into the swords. Su Xing sensed that the intertwined branch swords were even more powerful. Hanyan, Su Xing lay on top of Zhao Hanyan's body. He stared into her bashful eyes. "What are you doing?" Zhao Hanyan panted. Su Xing wanted to speak, but he stopped. He had no need to speak aloud sweet talk to express his tender feelings. He lowered his head and kissed her. Zhao Hanyan closed her eyes and savored him, her body pandering to him. She lost track of how many times her soft and elastic body had made Su Xing react. "You can't." Zhao Hanyan had a nervous appearance of powerlessly catering to his happiness. Dual cultivation arts or whatever were fine, but in the case it made Su Xing's desire open, he would be even more intense. "From now on, don't polish mirrors with Dong Junqing. As if this princess would promise you." Zhao Hanyan harumphed. "Really?" Su Xing made an evil grin, spreading Zhao Hanyan's slender legs open into an M shape. 8. The Ling Yan princess panicked. "Su Xing, don't, the star nest will recover right away. This princess will promise you, all right. Haven't the star nests not recovered yet?" Su Xing chuckled, once again tightly embracing her. Zhao Hanyan's brows wrinkled. A familiar fullness filled the inside of her body. During its slow movements, Zhao Hanyan once again moaned, cursing him with the two words, "So shameless." 2. The sun rose in the east. The first rays of dawn's glory sprinkled upon the sea, dispersing the darkness. Zhao Hanyan stood on the shore, gazing into the distance. Passing through a night of pandering to him and even his wantonness just now, the Ling Yan princess somewhat hurt. Fortunately, she was a supercluster cultivator. She could very quickly recover from this bit of pain. It was just about time for the star nest to recover its connection. "Princess." "Master." Yan Yizhen, Gong Sun Huang and Dong Junqing emerged from the star nest in succession, anxiously crying out. "I'm fine." Su Xing consoled them, summarizing the matter of Sun Mainyang, naturally leaving out the dubious plot points that occurred along the way. "Never expected to encounter Gardener Zhang Qing." Dong Junqing was grave. "Your Highness, from now on, little Huang will not enter the star nest." Gong Sun Huang floated up and landed on Su Xing's shoulder, blinking. Su Xing smiled. "Great, there's only a feeling when I'm with you." "Princess, are you truly unhurt?" Dong Junqing suspiciously eyed Zhao Hanyan, noticing that she apparently became somewhat different from before. A slight flirtatiousness was now seemingly in her respectable attitude. Dong Junqing's brows wrinkled, and then she looked to Su Xing. "Junqing, you need not worry. If this princess was not willing, could that man be able to bully this princess?" Zhao Hanyan's words had a double meaning. If he dared to do something to Princess Highness, Dong Junqing's words expressed killing intent. "Junqing, do not always be like this. You also know I have the 1,000-year contract with Su Xing and are even considered a married couple. Junqing, you ought to be very clear about the meaning since Han Yan brought him to go meet the Lingdong Countess." Dong Junqing was silent. "All right, speak no more of this. In the future, we must be more careful about the Black Turtle territory. The devil sects are numerous in this place, their evil techniques emergent. We cannot be careless." Zhao Hanyan smiled. However, forgive Junqing for speaking forthrightly, Su Xing is a star master, after all. Princess and he will become enemies in the end. Junqing also asks Princess to go quickly see the Bright Moon Longevity Palace to obtain the Tears of Vega to remove this contract. The steadfast star was stern, not kidding at all. Han Yan has her own propriety. Zhao Hanyan was expressionless. A moment later. "Wife, are we setting out now?" Su Xing said. Hearing this wife address, Dong Junqing's brows rose, yet she did not say more. To think of addressing this princess as wife, you must first pass that Father Emperor checkpoint. Otherwise, however you flaunt your tongue, this princess certainly will become hostile. Zhao Hanyan's expression flirtatiously admonished him. Su Xing was not to act recklessly. If he actually provoked Dong Juanqing's jealousy, that would not be good. Su Xing chuckled, nodding. Their flying swords shook, immediately soaring into the sky, flying towards the far north of the Black Turtle territory. Connecting Heaven Ancient Tomb, the 7th floor. An enormous rumble. A lion-like, tiger-like tomb-guarding beast slammed itself over. Yuan, careful! Wu Xinjie shouted in alarm. Elder sister, watch this. Shi Yuan chuckled. Roar! The lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast's heaven-shaking roar once again undulated through the mausoleum, shaking the tomb's dust into chaotically scattering. Shi Yuan's silhouette ran at high speed through the tomb's corridor, practically faster than wind. The aggression of the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast behind her probably could be rated as fierce, untouchable from head to toe. Shi Yuan's speed was not one bit inferior to the lion-tiger king. Seeing that it was a bit unable to keep up, this tomb guardian immediately spread its wings. They appeared to be made of stone, but with a flap, it unexpectedly took flight. Shi Yuan leaped, landing to the side with several somersaults. The hoodwinking flying claws interwove like a net, blocking the tomb guardian's sneak attack. When Wu Xinjie saw, she immediately scuttled to the front of the door to the connecting Heaven Ancient Tomb's 7th floor. She fixed her eyes on the inscription upon the door, pondering the mechanism to open it. The connecting Heaven Ancient Tomb deserved to be named one of the legendary 7 great ancient tombs. The dangers of the 7 floors were consecutive and layered. Each door had a tomb guardian and an extremely difficult mechanism. As long as she could solve the mechanism, she could open the door. The gate mechanism before her was considerably bizarre. In the middle of the 2 door panels was carved countless characters. These characters were pistons that could be pushed in. When Wu Xinjie saw this, she knew that the characters on the gate were the mechanism to unlock this gate. Looking again to the mystery of the inscription, there was only one sentence upon it. Please think twice, sir, you must open door. You must open door. In other words, if we fail even once, things would be troublesome. Wu Xinjie frowned. She had heard of many theories of mechanisms that if they failed, they would encounter a formidable tomb mechanism, even possibly starfall. For one like the connecting Heaven Ancient Tomb, Wu Xinjie believed this was certainly so. Gritting her teeth, Shi Yuan waved a banner. She could only release one of the 7th rank puppet beasts that she was so proud of. Go! Boom! The 7th rank puppet beast was crushed to pieces by several smacks from the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast. Shi Yuan wept without tears, for it was too useless. Roar! The lion-tiger beast pounced towards the girl. Just at this moment, a ray of white light struck it. It is better to allow Hua Shui to take over. The 9-tailed spirit fox Hua Shui unfurled her beautiful 9 tails, blocking in front of Shi Yuan. The best thief under heaven was endlessly moved. The 9-tailed spirit fox's powerful presence made this tomb-guarding beast feel a trace of dread, but the tomb-guarding beast merely hesitated for a moment, immediately pouncing. Careful, those claws are very powerful. Even my 7th rank puppet was unable to withstand it. Shu Yuan hastily warned. Bang, bang, sounds as if a heavy hammer was striking iron resounded. Hua Shui let out a charming laugh, somewhat disdainful. The lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast's sharp claws continuously and frantically fell like raindrops upon her. An ice-cold aura unfurled from its limbs, firmly trapping the 9-tailed spirit fox's body without the least bit of relaxation, untiringly attacking the objective that perhaps was already crushed. The berserk attack stirred up great amounts of dust that filled the entire place. In the air, a beam of light shone on her. Emitting a dazzling white light, Hua Shui was calm and graceful, like a queen. She allowed her opponent to carry out its frantic attack. This sort of attack speed and power made Shi Yuan tremble in fear. However, immediately after seeing Hua Shui was very calm and unperturbed, she also calmed down. Mournfully bellowing, Hua Shui suddenly broke free of the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast's attack, shooting out several dozen fox fires. These fox fires were like chains that whooshed and shot over to shackle the tomb-guarding beast. Although its body was bound by every sort of oppressive binding, that did not mean it had lost its ability to attack. The tomb-guarding beast let out a low roar, and an ice-cold shadow burst out from its mouth, pouncing for the Hua Shui just within its reach. The shadow suddenly wrapped around Hua Shui's body. Elder sister Xinjie, will something bad happen to Hua Shui? Shi Yuan quickly scuttled to Wu Xinjie's front. Watching the tomb-guarding beast with some lingering fear, this connecting heaven ancient tomb's 7th floor tomb-guarding beast was this powerful, the next few floors still did not reach the main hall. The thief star was somewhat worried. Hua Shui can manage. Wu Xinjie self-confidently replied. Since she said so, Shi Yuan could only watch. After her grief was torn to shreds, the shadow dispersed at the same time. The tomb-guarding beast that was about to prepare for an unbridled roar of victory was stunned. It was amazed to discover the whole body of the 9-tailed spirit fox before it glowed with a silver-white and crystalline luster. In the blackness of the tomb, she emitted a sparkling light, and even Shi Yuan could not help but be astonished upon seeing it. A stone beast dares to be unbridled. Hua Shui laughed. She hissed, and her figure flashed. Once again, she fiercely attacked the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast. At the same time she exploded with white light, Hua Shui flipped backwards to retreat, its nimble movements allowing it to dodge the tomb-guarding beast's counterattack. Her body drew a beautiful arc in the air. Hua Shui stopped in midair, suddenly unfurling her 9 tails. A fist-sized fox fire ignited in the darkness. Hit where it hurts. Although the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast was made of stone, that did not mean it was without weakness. Countless fox fires descended. The lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast roared. At the same time, it spat out a shadowy storm, unexpectedly churning the 9-tailed spirit fox's fox fire to bits. Hua Shui's whole body in the air was like a bolt of white lightning, or perhaps using thunderclap was a more appropriate word to describe it. Hua Shui's silhouette of imposing thunder was glimpsed for no more than an instant when it already was completely unclear. Only a wildly revolving tornado was visible rolling in the air, violently attacking the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast's figure. Shi Yuan watched, stunned. She completely did not know what movement Hua Shui made, however, that shocking aggression was just like a giant fox flying in the air, mercilessly biting the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast's head. The hard sculpture unexpectedly gave rise to a kind of feeling of it being torn apart alive. It was visible to the naked eye. The lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast's figure was chewed on by the Hua Shui-shaped, giant fox, currently having a large hole getting carved out of it. An ear-piercing chafing and ripping sound resounded in the sky, and even a monster like the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast that had no will felt pain. It opened its mouth wide and let out a shrill shriek. The painful action passed in an instant. In the enormous shriek, the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast finally recovered its ability to move. First, it attacked the giant fox that was still biting it. The shadow of deterrent that the attack alone brought already rolled up the surrounding tornado. The winter snow shuddered violently because of its attack, the might within visible. An enormous rumble. Shi Yuan covered her ears, shouting, "Elder sister, just what is this 9-tailed spirit fox star beast, why is it so powerful?" Wu Xinjie glanced over and shook her head. Historical data pertaining to the 9-tailed spirit fox was completely unwritten, however, to be able to draw out the 8 gates black gold chain, it could be seen that it was anything but ordinary, let alone that the 9-tailed spirit fox was more intelligent than they had imagined. "Elder sister, is the mechanism not done yet?" Shi Yuan asked again. "This mechanism is somewhat thorny." Wu Xinjie sighed. "Perhaps we are powerless against the connecting heaven ancient tomb, Furthermore, Hua Shui and the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast were locked in battle. After a great jolt, the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast appeared to already be injured. It howled, holes of damage already appearing in its head, looking fierce and monstrous. However, these did not count as much to it. Hua Shui still was that relaxed. Its four limbs were graceful, leisurely trotting about. Roar. The lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast furiously roared, like an actual giant beast, its breath rapidly condensing, inflating. Its body seemed to also possess a wild animal's qualities. It continuously let out a stifling, low roar, arched its body and fiercely pounced at Hua Shui. They were full of a feeling that seemed as if the entire space had been ripped apart. The entire cave practically became the world under the tomb-guarding beast. Its body incessantly emitted a cold air that made Shi Yuan basically incapable of drawing near. If the lion-tiger tomb-guarding beast had used this aggression from the start, that would be awful. Worthy of being the 7th floor's tomb-guarding beast. The sharp shadow turned into its violent weapon. Slave has played enough. Now, to send you on a journey. Hua Shui's pupils were alluring. They shot out cold light, and her figure immediately flashed. Like a single tree leaf floating in a surging ocean, Hua Shui this instant completely showed the 9-tailed spirit fox's kingly might. A pair of eyes more transparent than crystal, and her pupils seemed to be full of a piercing ice cold and countless flying ice fragments. The 9 tails unfurled like clumps of ice. The tomb-guarding beast's keen attack always missed by a hair's breadth, the sharp tip it brought nevertheless not even drawing near Hua Shui. Its powerful anger's repeated attack exchanges merely had large clumps of lifted dust, yet it was unable to touch the original target. Although its movements already reached the limits of what it could accomplish, it nevertheless still was not the least bit useful. Abruptly stopping its body, a chafing and ear-piercing sound entered their ears. The tomb-guarding beast's enormous body already forcefully stopped. Immediately after its body stopped, the countless shadows on its body seemed to instantly shoot out like dark weapons. The ear-piercing scream of air being torn apart filled the air. The densely packed shadows covered all of the spaces that Hua Shui could dodge to, completely without any blind spots. Along with the launch of the shadows, its mouth once again opened wide. The light ball within the pitch blackness was shockingly before their eyes. Its eyes exploded with cold light, and then Hua Shui truly moved. A bolt of white light flashed past the black shadow. Boom! Hua Shui passed through the tomb-guarding beast's imposing air and nimbly walked to Shi Yuan and Wu Xinjia's front, as if she had just finished a stroll. So incredible! Shi Yuan exclaimed. Slave has put on a shameful display. Hua Shui deferentially crept. When she finished, the tomb-guarding beast's whole body disintegrated. Shi Yuan suddenly yelped. When the tomb-guarding beast shattered, a piece of gem entered her eye. Rather than say it was a gem, it was better to say that it was a transparent flame, puppet spirit. Shi Yuan was overjoyed at the unexpected sight. Puppet spirits were a type of puppet beast, but they were far more powerful than a soul. Possessing a bit of intelligence, and even more importantly, a puppet spirit did not require any materials to pass through refinement. It would automatically produce a puppet. The strength would vary, and a weak one was perhaps a rat. A powerful one could possibly be a holy beast. The mechanism book recorded that there once was a mechanism great master that used a puppet spirit to refine a holy beast, which could be said to be frightening. No wonder it's so powerful. Shi Yuan happily thought. Obtaining this puppet spirit, even if they departed the connecting heaven ancient tomb this moment she would not have any regrets. Master, have you met with trouble? Hua Shui asked. And, this mechanism is not easy to break. Wu Xinjia hesitated indefinitely. Without Su Xing, her heart always seemed to be missing something. If you can't do it, forget about it. Elder sister, having a puppet spirit is a very good harvest. Shi Yuan consoled. Oh, do you wish for Hua Shui to help master? You know the secret of this mechanism? Wu Xinjia could discern the implications. Hua Shui nodded. How is it broken? Master needs only to press the character open, 10, on the left door and press the door, 11, character on the right door. Hua Shui observed, and then it respectfully spoke. Open door. 12, Wu Xinjie was stunned. Looking again to that mystery, please, sir, think twice, you must open door. You must open door, you must open door, she immediately guffawed. It was unexpectedly this simple. Xinjie truly was careless. That is because elder sister Xinjie feels that the connecting heaven ancient tombs mechanisms are very profound. Su Xing said so before. Some tombs that show more complex mechanisms are more easily able to fool people. He said this is a person's blind spot. Shi Yuan comforted her although she did not know what blind spot, 13, meant. Wu Xinjie nodded, smiling. Indeed, it is so. Next, Wu Xinjie consecutively pressed, open door, on the left and right gates. As expected, the gate immediately rumbled open. Let us go. This ought to be the end of the connecting heaven ancient tomb. Wu Xinjie smiled. Suddenly, Shi Yuan sensed a chill come from behind, causing her limbs to shudder from the ice cold. She turned her gaze over. Yuaner, what is the matter? Wu Xinjie asked. It seems there's something watching us. Shi Yuan's heart had a somewhat unclear premonition. She immediately forced a smile. It's probably some vengeful ghost that old tombs always have. This young lady was oversensitive. Let us go for now. Shi Yuan smiled. Some time after, as the thief star had sensed, not long after they left, a woman with long hair reaching past her but looked at that hidden gate and showed a ruminating smile. Puppet spirit, truly a good thing. Master, shall we make a move now? A voice appeared in her ocean of consciousness. No need. Just let the knowledge star show us the way. Understood. The tall figure hid, suddenly disappearing into the darkness, a tranquility without any waves. After the two of them came together, each of their powers increased greatly. The intertwined branch swords rolled up Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan, and flying for 6 days, they pierced through the 1,000 seas and islets to arrive at the Black Turtle territories far north. Before them were 2 islands. These islands appeared somewhat strange. In Su Xing's perspective, they jutted out like a bra. 14. The islands were pervaded with thick fog, a dead atmosphere. Due to it already being close to the deepest parts of the Black Turtle Sea, there was no sign of anyone here and now. The island was unlike the towns they passed that brimmed with vitality. Han Yan, this place isn't bad to become our immortals' abodes. Su Xing sized the place up. The environment was very quiet, which was suitable for cultivation. The important thing was that these 2 islands had the spiritual power necessary to open an immortal's abode, which made Su Xing's heart delighted. The Black Turtle Territory's islands were numerous, but the ley lines abundant in spiritual influence had long been partitioned away. However, we must first clean the place up. Zhao Hanyan smiled. Su Xing felt her smile was increasingly charming. Indeed. Su Xing also smiled and nodded. The pair each sent out bolts of star energy. With a boom, the earth quaked, and the sea waters surged, dispersing the mist. There was a shrill screech. Several dozen half-man, half-fish demon beasts with wings flew out. Besieging them in a circle, they cut off the intruders in the air. Loudly shouting, this perhaps could not count as a blockade. Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan had long already reached maximum charge. Do not use your star generals. Shall we see who can be first to finish cleaning? Zhao Hanyan provocatively glanced at him. Immediately, she controlled her flying swords to attack. A passionate kiss from the loser. Zhao Hanyan rolled her eyes at him. Su Xing did not hesitate either. The first half-snake, half-fish demon beast to appear bore the brunt of his attack. Let alone that their appearances were eerie, their pouncing speed was abnormally fierce, just like a gust of wind. Furthermore, this half-serpent, half-fish demon beast's assault ignited the bugle horn to attack. The dozen half-serpent, half-fish demon beasts arched their bodies and threw themselves over. Su Xing actually did not fear these guys. The 24 flying swords immediately flew out and attacked in a clump. These half-fish, half-bird, half-serpent demon beasts were killed into pieces, but more and more monsters rushed out. Some broke free of the sword net, pouncing to Su Xing's front. They waved their fish tails, raising a tyrannical strength. Su Xing kicked. His first kick landed on a half-serpent, half-fish demon beast, unexpectedly a bit unable to jolt it. Only when he increased his strength did he barely kick this organism flying. The other 10 at this time also pounced. Su Xing flashed away. His silhouette suddenly paused, and an enormous boom resounded in the air. Immediately, like an explosion, already shooting across the 10 zhang of space like a cannonball. While still in midair, Su Xing already spun like a top, countless purple mansion immortal thunders bringing severe whistles as they flew towards these demon beasts. Bang, bang, bang. The dozen half-bird, half-serpent demon beasts were all sent flying. Stopping, Su Xing surprisingly felt that his star energy had been considerably depleted. These demon beasts are known as fish eagles, very adept at eating star energy. Zhao Hanyan's voice floated over. N. When Su Xing heard, he aimed and rushed at a half-bird, half-serpent demon beast, crossing over the distance instantly with an escape technique. First of all was a heavy punch, and then there was a series of violent attacks. That half-bird, half-serpent demon beast wretchedly wailed. The next second, Su Xing already arrived before another several fish-eagle beasts. His flying swords became a grinding storm that unstoppably killed them. Finally, he used another purple mansion immortal thunder to destroy them. These fish-eagles very quickly were dashed and scattered, and following their scattering, they fled completely away. You are somewhat slow, Lord Husband. At this time, the long already done cleaning Zhao Hanyan mockingly assessed him. Ladies first, Su Xing chuckled. Zhao Hanyan was speechless. Zhao Hanyan looked at an ancient jadeite tree in front of her. Its branches and leaves were luxuriant, a glistening emerald green. Suspended in the dense leaves was a sparkling fruit. That fruit was completely green, its spiritual power pressing. If someone with a discerning eye saw this fruit, they definitely would be astonished. This Bodhi fruit was the seen once every century and priceless. To Buddhism, it was a treasure second only to Saraira. Zhao Hanyan sighed, not showing any delight at this Bodhi fruit. On the contrary, she was a bit regretful. Using one day's time, Zhao Hanyan opened in the Black Turtle territory her second purple star outlaw Yangshan Immortal's abode. With a heart full of expectation for the priceless materials that grew within, this Bodhi fruit actually made Zhao Hanyan feel pity. Although the Bodhi fruit was good, only those with the Chan Buddhism would be delighted. To go barter would inevitably involve many twists and turns. Forget it, taking it to the treasure feast for a trade would be pretty good. Zhao Hanyan picked the Bodhi fruit. At this moment, a pair of gentle hands hugged Zhao Hanyan from behind. Caressing the Ling Yan princess back, the hands then entered her clothes. Junqing, don't, Zhao Hanyan moaned, yet her hands pressed on the hands that were upon her chest. Dong Junqing spoke beside her ear, Princess has opened her second immortal's abode. Would it not be better for us to be intimate here? So that our trip to the Black Turtle territory would not be in vain. As she said this, her hands already covered Zhao Hanyan's towering breasts, rolling the bit of protrusion at the tip between her index and middle fingers. Zhao Hanyan enjoyed this, turning her head back and kissing Dong Junqing. One of Dong Junqing's hands at this time already stretched down into the Ling Yan princess hidden valley. Zhao Hanyan abruptly sobered up. Her hands pushed, and she broke free of Dong Junqing's embrace. Do not, he is still here. Zhao Hanyan's face wore shyness and determination. Dong Junqing was considerably annoyed. Princess Highness, do we still need to mind what he does when we are inside this immortal's abode? Junqing. Now that the star duels have already passed through the third phase, we should not continue doing this, Zhao Hanyan seriously said. Dong Juanqing's face chilled. Princess Highness, what did that man say to you? This is unrelated to Su Xing. Did nothing actually happen to you too? Dong Junqing grinned evilly. Regardless of if something happened to him and I, Junqing, so long as you know that this princess's heart is clear as a mirror for these star duels, that will do. Zhao Hanyan replied. Your servant shall now go kill him. Dong Junqing lifted the dragon and phoenix yin-yang spear, taking up a stance about to leave the immortal's abode. Zhao Hanyan did not stop her. Her expression was extremely indifferent enough that she did not need to utter a single word to make steadfast Star General of Double Spears Dong Junqing to unwillingly retract her killing intent. Zhao Hanyan softly smiled. She walked over and tenderly caressed Dong Junqing's face. She gently said, if Junqing can set down her prejudice, Su Xing is not so unlikable. Otherwise, how would Wu Song and Lin Chong accompany him? Could it be Princess wishes to gift your servant to be a part of his harem? Dong Junqing mockingly said. Junqing, this princess would certainly hate to do so. Zhao Hanyan kissed her, for that man to have her alone was enough. This instant, Zhao Hanyan ended the kiss. Suddenly, a message was left from the direction of the Azure Dragon territory. The Ling Yan princess wrinkled her smoky brow. This princess never thought that it would begin at this time. Is it the Bright Moon Longevity Palace? Dong Junqing was delighted. She truly itched to quickly dispel the contract between Zhao Hanyan and Su Xing. In her perspective, it was precisely this strange thousand-year intertwined branch's secret influence that made Zhao Hanyan become more and more like a married couple with Su Xing. It was truly damnable. No. Zhao Hanyan softly chuckled. However, Empress Wa's Divine Palace is not bad either. Inside the other of the Bra Islands, Su Xing opened an immortal's abode. The purple star jade pendant was able to link all of the immortal's abodes. By doing so, after Su Xing opened the second immortal's abode in the Black Turtle territory, he could reflect the Azure Dragon territories. The Insuan and Tang Lianxin currently refining medicines and tools inside the immortal's abode sensed the second immortal's abode, and following the swaying of divine intent, they appeared inside the Black Turtle territory's immortal's abode. Both sides reunited elatedly. Only then did Su Xing go see the precious materials inside the immortal's abode. Compared to the life-extending flat peach of the first time, this fruit opened this time was named Purple Immortal Radish, too, which made Su Xing extremely disappointed. This kind of purple immortal radish outwardly appeared beautiful, like a delicate fairy. What was the same as its appearance was that this purple immortal radish was precisely to be given to female cultivators to use. It was of great benefit to yin energy and the like. It's actually suitable to be sent to Zhao Hanyan. Su Xing muttered. Zhao Hanyan had lost her virginity and just so happened to need this fruit to recover, and this fruit could count as his bit of concern. Just as he was prepared to consider going out, from outside the immortal's abode came Zhao Hanyan's call. Su Xing took a stride and immediately left the immortal's abode. The Zhao Hanyan dressed in simple and elegant purple palace garb was quiet outside the door. Her slender body was elegantly highlighted without match by the silk fabric, which made Su Xing unable to help but recall the absolutely beautiful body covered underneath those clothes. However, how could Su Xing have not known that Zhao Hanyan would suddenly become so willing was not because of the golden opportunity brought by the sealing of the star nests. In the future, perhaps these two would not have this sort of chance to be intimate. Zhao Hanyan glared at Su Xing. This man truly could not conceal anything. The bare desire in his eyes was too direct. Recalling the attacks of that night, the Ling Yan princess felt a flow of warmth surge inside her body. This is bad, this princess is a little wet. 3. Have you finished opening your immortal's abode? Zhao Hanyan promptly shifted her own attention. Hanyan, what are you preparing to do next? Su Xing asked her. The Black Turtle territory had many priceless treasures under heaven. The aquatic demon beasts were all a major distinguishing characteristic. Many strange materials often could be found in the black turtle territory. Su Xing was preparing to go seek the Gen Wu divine iron. This princess has just obtained information from the Azure Dragon territory. The palace of Empress Hua has already opened, and the 10 great sects are preparing to join hands to go to the palace of Empress Hua. Su Xing, how about we go together? Zhao Hanyan gracefully smiled. The palace of Empress Hua. Su Xing seemed to have heard Wu Xinjie once mention this was one of the legendary 7 great ancient tombs. In every generation of star duels, there were also countless ruins outside of the 5 great phases. Most of these ruins required a star general's star crest in order to enter. These ruins and ancient tombs similarly also were a way for star generals to increase their strength. Some ruins and tombs even had rare books and the like that survived from ancient time. For this reason, the sects would all painstakingly accumulate contracted star generals in order to be able to depend on star master status to get a share of the rewards. At that time, amazing the world with a single feat was not too impossible. With you and I together, we naturally will have achievements. Zhao Hanyan slightly smiled. Su Xing muttered under his breath, not at all the happy answer that Zhao Hanyan had imagined. What, could it be you will not go? Zhao Hanyan asked. The 1,000-year tears of Empress Hua, you ought to know, do you not? This is but able to instantly advance cultivation. The palace of Empress Hua just happens to have this item. Su Xing was very vexed. The 1,000-year tears of Empress Hua, huh? 1 drop can greatly advance cultivation. This sort of item can only be encountered, not requested. He naturally very much wanted to go to this legendary ruin. With the palace of Empress Hua opened, not going this time meant there would be no opportunity next time, but time was too excessively pressing right now. To go from this place to the Black Turtle Sea needed several days, which was not enough to go back and forth. Whether or not Su Xing was moved by the palace of Empress Hua to refine the earth element flying sword was the major concern. The earth element flying sword was the master of defense. To face the overbearing Maiden Mountain, Su Xing first of all needed to protect his own safety in order to be able to make the beauties at ease. Otherwise, even if they were any more powerful, if he could not stand on his own, then he was a burden. Sorry, Han Yen. I came to the Black Turtle territory with urgent matters. I really have no way to free myself. Su Xing said with regret. Zhao Hanyan furrowed her brows. There was some disappointment in her eyes, however, from the very beginning when she found out Su Xing was pressed for time, she was not as angry as when she was refused the last time, then there is no helping it. Master, allow slave servant to go. The indifferent Yan Yizhen suddenly offered her services like Mao Sui. Huh? Both of them were taken aback. The sisters are all working their hardest for master. Slave servant also wishes to do something for master. Yan Yizhen earnestly said. Yan Yizhen's decisive and deeply concerned expression made Su Xing honestly have not grounds to refuse. All right. Han Yan, how do you feel about this? Although she could not be together with Su Xing, Zhao Hanyan did not decline. You truly are fortunate to have found such a good star general. Suan will also go together with elder sister Little Yi. And Suan also volunteered. Another person against the 10 great sects for the palace of Empress Hua always was another boost in strength. Su Xing nodded. Gong Sun Sheng, master shall be left to you. Yan Yizhen looked to Gong Sun Huang. The little lowly blinked her eyes, gently nodding. Have you met with trouble? Zhao Hanyan wrinkled her brow, herself unable to sense the worry in her tone. Nothing troublesome. Right, Han Yan, I'll give this purple immortal radish to you to supplement your body. Su Xing suggestively winked and brought out the purple immortal radish. You shall gift it to this princess. Zhao Hanyan said in shock. Although Su Xing could not use this purple immortal radish, its value was extremely high. Not only could it allow a female cultivator to advance her yin energy cultivation, it could also maintain an eternally youthful appearance. It could not be bought with any amount of money. At the treasure feast, it definitely could elicit the frantic shrieks of female cultivators. She never expected that Su Xing would so generously gift it to her. Any way you put it, you are my woman, just treat it as a body supplement. 5. Su Xing surreptitiously used sound transmission. Red clouds flew across Xiao Hanyan's face. Glancing at him with every sort of flirtatious and amorous expression, she extended a hand to take this purple immortal radish. Even if she had given her virginity to him, as if the Ling Yan princess would ever be courteous, this princess does not wish to owe you. You can take this Bodhi fruit. Speaking of this, the Bodhi fruit fell into Su Xing's hand. Su Xing had trained with the 5 dragons colored glass lantern ability, and the Bodhi fruit was perfectly a great benefit. The two exchanged words for a bit, and then Yan Yizhen and Ensuan entered Zhao Hanyan's immortal's abode. The sea was vast. Hearing the sound of waves crashing, the space between the sea and the sky was incomparably wide, boundlessly vacant, making Su Xing's heart suddenly feel a bit of loneliness. Gongsun Huang sat on Su Xing's shoulder, but both her hands hugged Su Xing's head silently. Elder brother, the sisters definitely will be unharmed. Tang Lianxin consoled him. Su Xing smiled and nodded. He naturally understood that temporary separation was always better than a lifetime of separation. Lianxin, you will actually be lonely by yourself in the immortal's abode. Su Xing tenderly said. Tang Lianxin showed a not too practiced smile, slightly shaking her head. Now that the reclusive earthly solitary star had Su Xing's companionship, she already did not dare make any more extravagant demands. Now that things have come to this, elder brother had better not tarry any further. Understood. Su Xing said to Gongsun Huang, Little Huang, big brother has something he wants to trouble you with. Your Highness, please speak. Gongsun Huang blinked. Can you go help me look for a spring breeze drunken rain pavilion, to bring by Yutang here? I've always been not too at ease. Su Xing smiled. Does your Highness not need little Huang's protection? Gongsun Huang spoke softly. Of course that isn't it. However, I can still cope with going to the Black Turtle Sea, so something as important as Bai Yutang shall be left to you, my beloved little Huang. Su Xing gently pinched her cheeks. Little Huang pondered for a moment and then nodded. Clasping Su Xing's face, she gently kissed him, and then her body soared up, light as a feather. Her indifferent expression seemed to say, Be careful, your Highness. Then, dragon in the clouds Gongsun Huang hid into the sea of clouds, already disappearing into the horizon. As if he was dreaming, of the 9-star generals at Su Xing's side, only Tang Lianxin was left. Elder brother, there's no need to worry. I'm going to the Black Turtle Sea now. Lianxin, you be careful yourself. Su Xing instructed. Elder brother as well. Tang Lianxin gave him a deep kiss full of tender feelings. The white clouds in the sky piled like snow, the island's cliffs towered in disorder. Suddenly, a sharp, air-breaking sound threaded through the sea of clouds, a screaming rumble. 2 beautiful figures fell from the sky like cannonballs, heavily smashing against the jagged cliffs, forming a giant hole. The smoke and dust cleared, and from the hole appeared 2 young women. One wore a tiger-patterned corset, and the other wore a blue shirt and short skirt. Inger. The beautiful girl in blue anxiously shouted, lending an arm to support the girl in the tiger-stripe long gown and corset. That girl's stature was exquisite and also cute, however, that blue-clothed woman's build was wonderful and fine. At first glance the two were actually somewhat oddly intimate. Inger vomited blood. The blue-clothed girl shouted, Quickly stop the pain. Quickly flee. The exquisite girl said with difficulty. Pushing with one hand gripped a soul-chasing life-taking spear. She was the minute star stumpy tiger Wang Ying, 2, true name Wang Ying. 3, thinking of escaping. A disdainful laugh fell from the sky. A Guanghan red hair steered a cloud of frost down. On the horse sat a mighty girl, with golden armor and long ribbons. In her hand was a purple brilliant moon-slashing blade. Great Saint Starkiller laughed out loud, the heavenly cycle-changing holy swords hung in the air, the cold light like iron. Worthy of being called Maiden Mountain's most absolute beautiful star general through the successive generations. Even when you are heavily injured to this degree, you still are capable of causing the downfall of a city. Even I cannot help but fall in love at first sight. Great Saint Starkiller praised the beauty of the blue-clothed woman that captivated all manner of living beings. The two girls had grave expressions. Now that the third phase has passed, you earthly stars had better quickly return to Maiden Mountain. The things to come after do not require your participation. Great Saint Starkiller sneered. Roar. Stumpy Tiger Wang Ying was like a hissing tiger. Her star beast, the sea's mountain for King Beast, charged towards Great Saint Starkiller. The Guanghan red hare intercepted at the front, its hooves hovering in the sky. The chill of frost and ice forced the sea's mountain for King Beast to withdraw. Guaning slashed, cutting down this star beast. The blue-clothed girl suddenly erupted, her figure scattering dispersing like water and smoke, her speed abnormally quick. A pair of sabers appeared in her hands, and with a leap, she attacked Great Saint Starkiller. Bang! Guang Ying's purple brilliant moon-slashing blade blocked. The four-star destined weapon of fighting fame easily slashed back the girl. Inger, do not waste time. Kill them. Great Saint Starkiller issued his orders. Brave Star Guaning spurred her horse. Just the Guanghan red hare's freezing aggression made the color drain from Stumpy Tiger Wang Ying's face. Facing the great blade, chief of the 5 tigers, the Minute Star unexpectedly did not retreat. Nyangzi, 5, quickly escape. Both of Wang Ying's hands clenched her spear. Star energy gathered from across her whole body, and the star crest on her forehead flashed. Guan Sheng, watch this. Wang Ying leapt high, just like a fierce tiger descending a mountain. The soul-chasing life-taking spear shadows covered in layers. Dark rank, love color like life. 6, Guaning slightly hesitated. In that transient moment, her hand rose and the halberd fell. The purple brilliant moon-slashing blade incomparably tore apart the spear images tyrannically. Stumpy Tiger Wang Ying screamed as she was cut down by the blade. Just at this moment, the purple brilliant moon-slashing blade abruptly burst forth with black chi. It passed through the girl, tearing her to shreds, like a plague of 10,000 ghosts. A heart-rending scream fell incessantly into the ear, a scene appearing extremely terrifying. Guan Ying's excited smile changed. She wanted to withdraw the great blade, but how could she have anticipated that Wang Ying's hands would seize the great blade? Even when this pain was so unbearable, she still turned her head back and shouted with difficulty, Nyangzi, quickly escape. Inger. The blue-clothed girl was grief-stricken. Quickly run. Wang Ying condensed all of the pain into a final shout. The blue-clothed girl raised her double sabers and slashed. Great Saint Starkiller sneered, the feelings between you sisters is actually deep, would it not be happier for you to return to Maiden Mountain together? The heavenly cycle-changing holy sword chi was like silk, slashing over. In the end, Wang Ying's expression did not despair, not was it angry. There was only a sort of deep concern. The young girl seemed to have heard the voice of her heart, live. Live. She needed to live to take revenge. The minute Star's star fell down. The blue-clothed girl's eyes furiously burned. A jade pendant flashed, and the young girl's body disappeared like smoke. Thinking of running, Inger, kill her. Great Saint Starkiller shouted. Guaning tightly clenched her great blade, looking incredulously at the dark afterglow of her weapon, at the burning flames deeper than darkness. She seemingly could hear the grudge of her sister inside the weapon. All of the resentment enveloped the weapon, and a powerful force made her nearly incapable of control. What is this? What the hell is this? Guan Ying's complexion lost all of its color. Guan Sheng. A furious roar shook Great Blade Guaning from her shuddering. Guaning raised her head and spotted the hateful expression of the sister before her. Guan Shen. I, Hu Sanyang, swear that this is not over. Her figure dispersed, and the girl immediately disappeared. Guan Ying's eyes were like ice, without any feeling. Great Saint Starkiller was disdainful, the barks of a defeated dog, she dares to boast. You think you can run from the Black Turtle territory, but the Devil Star Palace naturally will find you and sacrifice you. Master! Why did you do this? Guaning shouted, her voice like a thunder roll. Great Saint Starkiller's brows wrinkled, and he sternly yelled, You ought to wake a bit from that illusion of honor, Guaning. The star duels have nothing to do with good and evil. They are only life and death, you must understand. Even now, your heart still retains compassion. Could it be you wish to repeat a disastrous course of action again? Her knuckles turned white from gripping her weapon so tightly. Guan Ying's gaze suddenly made Great Saint Starkiller's heart give rise to a sort of unprecedented chill. He made a rare step back. No need to be afraid, since you contracted her, she cannot possibly betray you. Even if she was not thinking of doing this, you can compel her by command, Great Saint Starkiller reassured himself. His tone warmed a bit, you and I share everything together in fortune and misfortune. Could it be, Guaning, that you do not want to raise again the true fighting fame of the Chief of the Five Tigers? How many despicable characters were there in the previous star duels that nevertheless have even greater glory than yours, Guan Sheng? Could it be because their strength is more powerful than yours? But this general disdains using this sort of thing. Do you have anything meaningful to say? If it was not for you being defeated by Wusong, how could we have ever fallen to such a state? Alas, this great saint does not wish to see you in pain, Inger. Great Saint Starkiller sighed in distress, unknown how much of the distress and helplessness shown in his eyes was real and how much was false. Guaning was silent. Seeing that she had been soothed, Great Saint Starkiller once again said, For the sake of victory, you must make sacrifices. This is what you originally said to your servant, Inger. Now, what does this tiny, insignificant sacrifice amount to? First, properly refine this devil star. I will have all the people in the palace go capture Hu Sanyang. Ha, an earthly star for heavenly king. She cannot run too far. Several days afterwards, a figure clad in a black cloak stood on one of Lone Dragon Mound, 7, gazing into the distance. Below was an uneven wasteland and a large river cutting across. Further away, figures could be seen fighting on the river. Concentrating for a moment, the black-cloaked person nodded. Suddenly turning their head to look, the figure then flashed down the mountain. Su Xing felt himself truly unfortunate. Leaving the immortal's abode, he used several days' time to go to the Black Turtle Sea, the end result of which was that the paths to this Black Turtle territory sea crisscrossed. The islands were countless, and he unexpectedly lost his way. Asking several villagers from the islands, no one knew the way. Su Xing currently was inwardly angry. He heard that he could hear all sorts of information at Lone Dragon Mound. Asking around, he did not find anything. On the contrary, he had drawn trouble over first. The alligator dragon sea-swallowing claws of the young girl clad in a sleeveless blue long robe were dexterous claws. Upon the seas, she was more nimble than a fish. Watching her claws dance, the ground immediately surged with bursts of water pillars shooting into the sky. Quickly surrender before Pinger, 8, the corner of the girl's lips curled. Her short pink hair was tied into two small ponytails. The flowing sea hung, and those eyes carried a hurry and surrender meaning. Su Xing inwardly wrinkled his brow, flipped open the treasure book and looked. Star position, Gilt Star, 9, Star name, Wan Xiaowu, 10, nickname, short-lived second brother, 11, true name, Wan Pinger, 12, rank, 29th star weapon, alligator dragon sea-swallowing claws, 13, 2-star, star beast, ancient dragon alligator, 14, realm, 10,000 technique 7th stage innate skill, water control 5 elements, Water Yellow rank special move. Dragon King Break Dark rank special move. Water Flooding Dragon King Temple current status. No contractor can be conquered. Detailed materials. Gilt Star, Wan Xiaowu. Su Xing gasped. The star generals of this black turtle territory honestly were numerous. He did not expect to see her. A naval star general was a ferocious character, and she had not signed a contract. If this was in the past, Su Xing would have had interest to flirt a bit, but how could he have this fiery sentiment at this time? Wan Pinger, what are you doing? Su Xing continuously dodged the rocketing water pillars. If he was stained, the consequences could not be imagined. The birth treasure outline? Wah, you have lots of capital. Are you a star master? Where is your star general? Her evil grin increasingly blossomed. Gilt Star Wan Pinger's current manner looked as if she had spotted prey. It would be better to capture and bring you back to my watery den. I do not have time to play with you. Su Xing felt he truly was foolish enough to unexpectedly still have the mood to play at this time. Could it be that he still clung on to the idea of signing a contract? Su Xing's divine intent rose. 24 flying swords appeared from thin air. They cut down the water pillars altogether. A rushing escape light charged the Gilt Star. Wouldn't it be better for you to first become your servant's mistress? Su Xing could not help taking liberties with her. Suddenly, he recalled that the depth of the Black Turtle Sea was millions of li deep, very dangerous. If there was this sort of water general, how could he not be a fish back in water, to have double the success with half the effort? If you have the ability, then come get me. Let us see just who will fall first. Wan Pinger's expression was extremely delicate and pretty, but she looked like a weird uncle. Seeing Su Xing was supercluster early stage, Wan Pinger sensed that Su Xing was a star master. The so-called star masters were not all star cultivators that had contracted star generals. Some only became star cultivators after the star duels began. These sorts of star cultivators could also sign contracts with star generals, and they were also called descended stars. 16. Any way it was put, supercluster early stage cultivation was stunning. Wan Pinger originally thought to force Su Xing to bring out his star general, but it appeared that Su Xing did not have a star general. Could it be this man had not contracted a star general? This surprising discovery made Wan Pinger wildly give birth to wicked thoughts. Her heart had the impulse to first capture him and bring him back for the elder and little sisters to look at. It was honestly too pitiful for this sort of star master to not contract. If the elder and little sisters did not like him, at that time, she could nearly have one less disaster. Precisely harboring this goal, the Gilt Star then became braver the more she fought. The alligator dragon sea swallowing claw slashed, and a water pillar rolled up, becoming a water dragon that extended across the girl's whole body. That scene was extremely beautiful. Dragon King break. Wan Pinger grinned evilly. That wide and large water dragon locked onto Su Xing and pounced. The flying swords simultaneously slashed, yet cutting water was completely useless. Return. Su Xing struck a hand seal, his flying swords forming a sword shield that unfolded and blocked before him. The water dragon slammed against it. The dragon's powerful strength jolted the life-cast flying swords into groaning, feeling quite unwell alongside Su Xing's own body. Gilt Star short-lived second brother Wan Xiaowu grinned evilly. The alligator dragon sea swallowing claws once again brandished water dragons, a function of her water control innate skill. Wan Pinger played with the flow of the river in the palm of her hand. To Su Xing, this did not constitute a threat, yet it could waste his star energy. A star master like yourself, elder sister will like. Wan Pinger cruelly grinned. The river made Su Xing trapped on all sides, putting him in a somewhat impossible situation. His opponent was a top-notch naval magic energy heavenly star, and this place was her home turf. For a time, Su Xing was at wit's end attempting to capture Wan Pinger to be a mistress. Ruan Pinger was currently deluding herself about how to entertain this feast for the eyes, when suddenly, she felt a chilly wind come from behind her. The short-lived second brother glanced out the corner of her eye and spotted a figure in a black cloak currently moving towards her in a high-speed attack. That speed was very quick. A scorching baleful aura gravely arrived before her. Ruan Pinger's claws went to block. Cold light crisscrossed, moving back and forth. The black-clothed person was nimble beyond imagination. Ruan Pinger caught the smell of danger and familiarity, a star general. A soft bellow broke free from the cloaked person's lips. Ruan Pinger saw a pair of golden pupils raise a storm. The black-cloaked star general charged for the kill on Ruan Pinger in a spurt of energy. Ruan Pinger's claws warded off the blow. Countless water blades slashed in an exchange. Ruan Pinger suddenly discovered the star general in front of her was very weak. Although her speed and agility were somewhat surprising, her attack power was mediocre. Ruan Pinger completely could hold her own, so much so that she could use star magic to be even more sure of victory. I can kill her. As expected, you have a star general, short-lived second brother Ruan Pinger evilly laughed. It would be better to yield to me. The dull gold light slashed, blocked by the long already prepared alligator dragon sea-swallowing claws, but Ruan Pinger was not at all relaxed at this time. She did not know whether or not her provocation had aroused her opponent's desire for battle, for the cloaked star general made several fierce chops in succession. The gold light and water light clashed restlessly. Another short blade suddenly attacked from another angle. Ruan Pinger intercepted it. The opponent's fierce and explosive oppression made Ruan Pinger continuously step back. Double sabers and double claws ferociously slashed at each other, the crisp shockwaves linking together into one. Ruan Pinger let out an evil laugh that feigned relaxation, but her expression betrayed her disguise. Her opponent's attacks were increasingly fierce, increasingly emotional. Ruan Pinger already was somewhat unable to bear with it. Heavenly Star Marshal General. A water wall revolved around. What are you doing not showing yourself? Could it be you are very ugly? Hee hee. Ruan Pinger asked as she retreated. The cloaked star general's double sabers easily ripped apart the water screen. Her figure was mist-like, her body technique somewhat unfathomable. The double sabers crisscrossed and stabbed, freezing Gilt Star's short-lived second brother's evil grin. The blade's tip directly stabbed into her lung. Ruan Pinger's expression changed, pulling out the blade's tip with great difficulty. Her star magic escaped, and she unexpectedly dove into the ocean depths. Water flooding Dragon King Temple. Ruan Pinger was abruptly angry. The island quaked, and a turbulent flood soared into the sky, engulfing the entire island. The cloaked star general did not hesitate at all to rush towards Su Xing. Su Xing was currently spectating the drama. The pair's surprising battle made him leak cold sweat. Originally, he had wanted to help Ruan Pinger, however, for he who had only just fought about to go help honestly was finding trouble. Su Xing just waited for his chance to be the hero that rescued the beauty. Doing so would resolve the misunderstanding between them, and going with her to the Black Turtle Sea would be more convenient. That cloaked mysterious person was strong. Although it appeared her strength was less than desirable, carrying a trace of weakness, her double saber arts, flaring aura of death and dreamlike dance steps made Su Xing, an expert in battle against star generals, immediately discern that the martial arts of the person before him were considerably formidable. Ruan Pinger was perhaps misfortunate against this. Not outside of expectations, Ruan Pinger's advantage was not maintained for long. She was beat back, and just when Su Xing thought of being the hero that rescued the beauty, he suddenly saw first the Gilt Star's short-lived second brother unexpectedly use her dark rank star magic. The island sunk, and the flood swallowed the sky. Countless sea dragons fell over each other in a terrifying surge. That aggression was incomparably terrifying. Just as Su Xing wanted to ride a flying sword to escape, the cloaked person all of a sudden surprisingly rushed over. You came at the perfect time. Su Xing grunted and slashed with a flying sword. The opponent paused and was wounded by the sword chi. What made Su Xing surprised was that the newcomer did not react. She was neither angry nor did she make any other expression. A soft arm extended, contrarily full of kindly intentions. Su Xing was taken aback, and then he grabbed hold. "Come with this wife." A somewhat tender voice called out. The counterpart pulled Su Xing and skyrocketed. The countless water dragons ceaselessly eroded Lone Dragon Mount. This girl's body techniques were extremely agile, like a butterfly flitting through flowers. Each and every time she dodged, if it were Su Xing, he would unavoidably have to squander much energy in order to resist. How could he ever be as fairy-like as she? Star General. As if they were high in the clouds, in the blink of an eye, the young girl brought Su Xing to an even higher mountain. Looking back to Lone Dragon Mound, the big island had already been swallowed and submerged by the sea dragons. So violent. Su Xing shuddered. "I will not let you go." Wan Pinger ground her teeth in denial. She jumped into the ocean depths, escaping far away. Only when her presence completely disappeared did the young girl finally retract her chilliness. Up until now, Su Xing still did not understand just what the hell was going on. Why did it seem like the two of them were fighting over him? "You are?" Su Xing asked. His counterpart extended a hand and waved. The cloak was peeled away, and if what Su Xing expected was a beauty, what he did not expect was an absolute beauty. The girl's body was dressed in an ocean blue. Her top only wore a bodice, revealing her underbelly and navel. Her bamboo shoot-shaped, too, breasts were very plump, and he could vaguely glimpse a very deep cleavage. The water blue shoulder pads were lined with red pearls, and her lower body wore a skirt armored in the front and was longer in the back. The corners of her skirt had silk weaving, as if they were aquatic grasses gently waving, which made the girl appear considerably alluring. Her legs were slender and fair, and transparent boots extended up to her thighs. The attire bluer than the sea that was over her whole body highlighted the girl's wonderful curves, as if she was a mermaid who had emerged from the sea, full of a dreamy sensation. Her beautiful long hair extended like a waterfall. The young girl's pupils were an amber gold. Like caged smoke, it was unclear what was real and what was false. Her dull cherry lips, her absolutely beautiful mien, skin that surpasses snow made Su Xing unable to help but exclaim in admiration. "Are you a man or not?" Her voice was the sound of nature. The young girl's expression was very cold yet also somewhat irascible. "Of course I am, one who can support heaven and earth." Su Xing patted his chest. "If you are a man, then you will never cower, correct?" Su Xing could hear her somewhat odd tone. The girl was slightly deep as the sea, but he still nodded. He had never been one to cower. "Very good." The woman attentively gazed at Su Xing, her long eyebrows considerably arousing. What was this little beauty thinking of doing? Su Xing did not dare be careless, inwardly on guard. The young girl walked close to him. Suddenly, her hands clasped Su Xing's cheeks. She stood on tiptoe and kissed Su Xing's lips. The girl's soft lips immediately transmitted a feeling warmer than water. Su Xing's whole body seemed to be enveloped in seawater. His blood boiled, and his head suddenly ached, as if there was a blade carving upon it. "Huh? This is..." Su Xing's heart was greatly astonished. Nevertheless, his lips were being tyrannically deep-kissed by the girl. Su Xing instinctively wanted to push her away when suddenly he glanced a tear of grief leak from the corner of the girl's eye, stirring his heart. The star crest on the girl's forehead flashed with a blue light. Su Xing immediately sensed that his ocean of consciousness again increased in size, gaining another star nest. They had signed a star dual covenant. The kiss ended. A shade of red appeared on the girl's pale cheeks. Following their contract, both sides were reborn. Su Xing had yet to return to his senses. Su Xing contracting 8 star generals was unprecedented since ancient times in Liangshan continent. Perhaps no one could be more familiar with the sensation of signing a star dual covenant than Su Xing was. But even so, the first encounter with such a powerful kiss made the Su Xing who signed the contract completely stupefied. He had never thought about this sort of situation before. He did not even know what star general this girl even was. Who are you? Su Xing moistened his lips and organized his thoughts. He was just attacked by the guilt star just now. He had even wanted to develop a relationship with Guild Star Wan Xiaowu to go to the Black Turtle Sea, and then, he formed a contract with the ocean blue illusory girl in front of him. What third-rate director directed this third-rate act of a third-rate play? A plot twist? The climax? The world-shaking pledge? There was a total lack of it all. Just signing a contract like this, Su Xing felt this was very unreal. You can just call me Nyangzi. 3. The girl's voice was not warm at all. But these words were spoken so ecstatically. Nyangzi. Calling herself wife at first sight. This really was a fourth-rate script. She honestly was brazen, Su Xing secretly observed. Your name. The young girl's tone was harsh. Your servant is Su Xing, you can call me dear husband. Su Xing scratched his head. The other side had made him address her as wife, any way it was put, he had to reciprocate for propriety, to show good faith. To marry first and then cultivate feeling was also quite fresh. Dear husband. The girl was taken aback. A drunken red flew across her face. She stared at Su Xing and indignantly said, Since you would like for me to call you dear husband, then I shall call you dear husband. Hey, why is it, I like? It was obviously you yourself that first made the request, right? The Su Xing who was slightly treated as a shameless pervert was very bewildered. What star general are you? Su Xing merely treated this wife as foul-mouthed but upstanding. This lady is the 59th ranked bright star 10 feet of blue Husan Yang. The girl voluntarily introduced herself, turning around. Husan Yang. A star general of Maiden Mountain's earthly star 4 heavenly kings. Su Xing's heart was jolted. The beautiful female general of the water margin. This made Su Xing feel like wringing his wrists and sigh that this beauty had been defiled by Wang Ying. Su Xing flipped out the birth treasure outline, and the golden light glowed. Star position, bright star, 5, star name, Husan Yang, 6. Nickname, 10 feet of blue, 7, true name, Hun Yangzi, 8, rank, 59th star weapon, golden wind and morning dew double sabers, 3 star, / these feelings are endless lasso, not yet manifested, 9, star beast, blood sweat silver hair horse, 10, realm, 10,000 techniques 8th stage innate skill, light smoke dance steps, 11, 5 elements, water yellow rank special move, hate transmission, 12, dark rank special move, flying star. Magpie dance, 13, current status, Su Xing, contractor, detailed materials. True name, Hun Yangzi, Su Xing gasped, your true name is Hun Yangzi. The bright star turned her head, showing a, is there a problem, expression. Su Xing grumbled and shook his head. Fuck, her true name is Hun Yangzi. Then I was truly showering her with unwanted affection just now. However, seeing that Hun Yangzi did not oppose, Su Xing would make the best after this mistake. Su Xing had a question he was dying to ask. This wife knows what you wish to ask. I signed a contract with you because I saw your cultivation. A supercluster stage star master without a star general would inevitably tempt many uncontracted star maidens, but Husan Yang nevertheless was not motivated by this. She wanted revenge, to find and exact revenge on Guan Sheng, but relying on herself alone, she absolutely could not win against Great Saint Starkiller and Great Blade Guan Sheng. Because of this, she needed to find a powerful star master. So, when she spotted Su Xing with supercluster and without a star general in accompaniment, 10 feet of blue Hun Yangzi did not hesitate at all to snatch him from the Guilt Star's hands. As for the kiss contract, Hun Yangzi wanted to make each of their star energies become even more powerful. So long as she could kill Guan Sheng, whatever the price, she would pay it, let alone this kiss contract. Kill Guansheng. Bright star 10 feet of blue. Hu Nyangzi spoke flatly, yet the bereavement in her eyes made Su Xing somewhat moved. He had once met Guaning inside Evil Smiting Hall. At that time, he had been practically forced to a dead end by the 4-star Great Blade. He had lingering fears towards this star general of proud warrior spirit. Dear husband, do you dare accompany Nyangzi together to go kill them? Hu Nyangzi's voice was extremely calm, as if she did not care at all for Su Xing's reply, but Su Xing could understand what it was the girl needed. Wife's affairs are my affairs, what's there to be afraid of? Su Xing slightly smiled. Bright star. Hu Nyangzi stared intently on Su Xing, her dull gold pupils in contemplation. She lightly nodded, unclear whether she acknowledged Su Xing's words or if she acknowledged the lord husband before her. However, are we going now? Su Xing asked. Dear husband, is there any certainty that we can kill her right now? Hu Nyangzi asked back. The both of them were intelligent people, and Su Xing smiled. Hu Nyangzi appeared to be impulsive, but she actually was calm. Who was Great Saint Starkiller? The Black Turtle Territory's #1 Star Master, with a cultivation that had reached Supercluster middle stage peak. The brave star Great Blade Guaning 5 Tiger General's chief even had a 4-star destined weapon in hand, and with the Devil Star Palace's influence at their back, they were even more unexcelled in the world. They were the Black Turtle Territory's #1 Great Devil Palace. The Black Turtle Territory had several devil sets, and many of their star masters without exception could only gaze at Great Saint Starkiller's back. Such a star master was without any hesitation to speak of. The 7 stars assembly of this generation's star duels belonged to him, and it was even reasonable that the position of overlord belonged to him. Although Hu Nyangzi was crammed full of unrestrainable anger and hatred for the Guansheng who tortured Wang Ying to death, she nevertheless understood the distance between them. However, after contracting Su Xing, a rare calm appeared in Hu Nyangzi's irascible heart, and her consciousness was even more clear. Of course, this was thanks to the effect of Su Xing's soul technique. Right now, we don't. However, you will know in the future. You can't be scared stiff by this dear husband's identity. Su Xing said. Regardless of what dear husband's identity is, Nyangzi will always stand loyally by your side. Hu Nyangzi displayed her intentions and standpoint. Hu Nyangzi's beauty was like a soap bubble, truly with a sort of misty and hazy mystery, particularly those quiet golden amber eyes. Su Xing felt somewhat moved. Just as Su Xing was about to ask her about the matter of his black turtle sea flying swords, at this moment, 10 feet of blue abruptly spun around, her double sabers appearing in her hands. Those sabers were modeled extremely ornately, embedded with stars and gems. One twinkled with an ocean blue light, the other short saber appeared a gold the shade of golden sand of the deep sea, twinkling with a mesmerizing light. The golden sand short blade was named Golden Wind, the ocean blue twined with waves of green light was named Morning Dew. Golden Wind and Morning Dew. Of the magnificent and famous 108 star maidens, her beauty was the top throughout the 9 generations of star duels, making countless star cultivators drool over her, to pursue her. Even in this generation, things were the same. Nyangzi has brought over some trouble and asks dear husband to retreat. 10 feet of blue. Hu Nyangzi faced head-on, her expression extremely calm without ripples. Since we are husband and wife, don't distinguish between us. Su Xing shook his head. Although this surprising forced contract made Su Xing recall how Lin Yingmei was at first, since they had contracted, there was nothing more to say. Furthermore, he was not opposing her at all, but the deeply hidden sorrow in 10 feet of blue's eyes made him feel hurt. Su Xing was determined to first slowly influence her and then worry later. A black cloud arrived. Hu Sanyang, the Devil Star Palace has ordered our Devil Addiction sect to capture you. Will you obediently be captured or first suffer torment? Several black long-robed men and women controlled their flying swords, sneering incessantly. This does not require dear husband to act. She whispered softly into his ear. Her watery silhouette already soared, becoming mist. She flashed into the middle of the devil addiction sect. Artifacts and magic weapons flew out in succession, falling over each other in retreat and battle. Golden wind and morning dew delicately danced, and the girl's attacks were rated as wonderful. Careful. Use the devil dart. 2. Bloodthirsty great array. Terrified voices were in extreme chaos. With a soft and muffled noise, Hunyangzi instantly avoided the encirclement of these star cultivators. Her body techniques were completely indecipherable. A galaxy peak cultivator was startled, only feeling a chill at his back, and then he felt a sharp blade pierce his flesh. His blood vessels were indeed ice-cold, and a terrifying aura of death spread through his body. A formless power immediately erupted. No one could describe the terror of this baleful aura that suddenly and oddly appeared, just like how no one could escape the samsara of life and death. Instantly, with Hunyangzi as the center, the murderous intent within a 2-meter range seemed to come alive, flocking in all direction. In an instant, there seemed to be a conflagration burning everything away. Then, the several dozen corpses of cultivators left behind were burnt to ash. The other cultivators cried out in fear. They did not expect that Hu Sanyang would unexpectedly be so violent. Did the information not say she had been left at her last breath by Guaning, that she was without the strength to strike back? What was the meaning of this? The star crest on her forehead answered the suspicions of these dead cultivators. Star Dual Covenant. 10 feet of blue has signed a contract. Ah, be careful. It is that man. Frightened yells rose and fell in succession. These cultivators rapidly fled, but the bright star's body techniques were indescribably wide, appearing very slow, but she followed left and right, unable to be shaken loose. The more they wanted to run, the more clingy the mist was. Calm down, all of you. I will go kill her contractor. The sound of thunder roared, like a demon. A supercluster late-stage elder transformed into a demon, moving to attack Su Xing, just perfect. Su Xing sneered, calling forth the heaven-tearing flying swords. The flying swords of both sides struggled against each other. All of a sudden, the old man's palm struck. The star energy defenses around Su Xing's body warped and tore wherever the palm touched. His star energy shattered, becoming fragments that entered this ancestor's hand. Watch the thirsty for blood boundless devil sect ghost sealing great array. 3. What a long name. The supercluster late-stage ancestor coldly shouted. Instantly, Su Xing felt that he seemed to be placed right above a bottomless eddy. The air had boundless strength unable to be utilized, and his whole body's strength had been firmly trapped as suction force. Formless black chi fell over itself and flew out, binding him like chains. Su Xing did not dare be careless. His shouted, blossoming the meditative mind lotus flower. That limitless black chi was immediately illuminated by Buddhist light. Golden lotuses surged in the air, and the supercluster late-stage ancestor's expression greatly changed. In a flash, that ancestor's eyes widened. His entire being suddenly was roused from a beautiful dreamland. His face twitched, and he bared his fangs. With a great yell, he already fully utilized his powers. How could he ever be willingly frightened by a supercluster early-stage cultivator? Raising a magic weapon, 2 black banners suddenly appeared behind him. Unfurling, they became a barrier. As the devil addiction sect's top-notch elder, regardless of strength or ability, the supercluster late-stage cultivator would far surpass a supercluster early-stage. When he saw that Su Xing went to directly contend against him, the supercluster ancestor thought his opponent's brain was broken. He thought of getting rid of this monk to render a great service. After he saw that Buddhist light, although the supercluster ancestor was somewhat fearful, he was still composed. His arms spread open, black chi protecting him. His body's surly and powerful abilities completely were not something Su Xing could compare himself to. This full power release immediately stabilized the formless chains. Su Xing's face still hung that fearless and extremely indifferent grin. The other several cultivators seized their chance while the supercluster ancestor was stalling Su Xing. Seeing that this was an exceptionally good opportunity, they suddenly launched a sky and earth-shattering assault. Cold light gleamed in his eyes as Su Xing sneered facing them. Seeing those black devil magic artifacts, he displayed the tenacity and resolution characteristic of a star cultivator who emerged the veteran of 100 battles. His left hand rose, instantly forming a hand seal. Tut! His short hair was blown upwards by the wind, his whole body's blood boiling. Su Xing unexpectedly unleashed his might at this instant, sending all of his star energy into his right palm and shooting it outwards. Vajra Devil Felling Palm. The Buddhist palm boomed, and the supercluster ancestor's expression greatly changed. Bang! Golden light flourished, the star energy protecting the back of the supercluster late-stage ancestor was instantly blown apart by the surly power on Su Xing's tyrannical palm, exposing his withered flesh, and the two banners acting as defensive magic weapons were even more damaged. Immediately, all of his power was discharged, filling the sky. The banners immediately shredded. Spewing out a mouthful of blood immediately, the supercluster late-stage ancestor flew out. He was in clear disbelief, but if he only used a full power palm attack, he would only force Su Xing onto a dead end. The reason was that at this time, the other star cultivators had already launched an attack. Su Xing did not back away at all. Su Xing's smile made the supercluster ancestor feel an unprecedented feeling of danger. From Su Xing's revolt to now was merely the blink of an eye. The devil addiction sect's several dozen cultivators were completely without even the time to be shocked. Already with glowering eyes, they launched an attack. Several dozen thick beams of light suddenly appeared that enveloped everything. Immediately afterwards, blades, talismans, seals, black stone, flying swords and all sorts of different artifacts and powers attacked, immediately filling his surrounding 3 meters. An extremely rebellious force rolled towards Su Xing, pelting him. Grave as a devil's roar. Even a supercluster early stage would unavoidably suffer under such a powerful assault. But, a clear light sprinkled down, pure and holy, melodious and limpid. All of the black chi that received the clear light suddenly ebbed away, as if it had encountered its bane. Evil suppressing clear light. The supercluster ancestor immediately knew what the thing before him was. Go! Su Xing formed a hand seal. The 12 Lengia slowly flew out, drawing out a gorgeous arc, showering down clear light. The devil addiction sect's cultivation methods were in no way opponents for the 10,000-year evil-suppressing flying swords, and they were easily broken apart. All of the cultivators showed astonished expressions and wanted to flee. The flying swords twisted, and the evil-suppressing clear light rolled up a hurricane that destroyed these cultivators completely, dead with remaining grievances. The Black Turtle territory cannot ever coexist with you. The supercluster ancestor furiously said. His words were not an exaggeration. The 10,000-year evil-suppressing Langya was already sufficient to make the Black Turtle Devil sect's target Su Xing for complete destruction. Su Xing snorted, his expression seemingly saying, "Do you have any life to let them know?" The supercluster late-stage ancestor was stunned. Oh, no. By the time he returned to his senses, Hunyangzi's double sabers radiating hate already stabbed. A top-notch head immediately left its body and flew into the sky. Evil-suppressing clear light is honestly convenient. Su Xing patted off his palms. Looking again to Hunyangzi, he feared this battle would not even count as a warm-up. The young girl had wholehearted doubt. Gazing at Su Xing's Langya, she showed astonishment, but the bright star showed great calm, not saying a word, silent. Su Xing destroyed the elder's corpse, and just as he was about to destroy that head, he suddenly noticed that the head did not fall down. Raising his head to look, he suddenly saw a young girl riding a winged tiger already holding onto the elder's head. A man shouted in amazement, "Elder Boundless! Star General!" Su Xing and Hu Sanyang coldly glared at the people above. Since they did not run, then there was no need to. They should have thought of this before. After all, even if the Devil Addiction sect was a sect that had been unilaterally ordered by the Devil Star Palace to take action, they would need to take Maiden Mountain into consideration. This time was the most appropriate time to dispatch a Star Master. However, this Star General riding a winged tiger honestly had come relatively late, a bit like a police officer. Seeing that young girl's whole body clad in gold armor, her golden hair waving in the wind, her hand held a broadsword. Mighty and brilliant, Su Xing could feel her powerful strength from very far away. Let me see what Star General you are. Su Xing for the third time flipped out the birth treasure outline. Star name, Defense Star, 5, Star name, Lei Heng, 6, nickname, Winged Tiger, 7, true name. Rank, 25th Star Weapon, Flying Tiger Retreating Forest Saber, 8, 3 Star, Star Beast, Heavenly Wing Fierce Tiger, 9, Realm, 10,000 Technique 6 Stage Innate Skill, Power, 10, 5 Elements, Metal Yellow Rank Special Move, Flying Stream Scuttling Sky Slash, 11, Dark Rank Special Move, 2 Tigers Bear Wind, 12, Current Status, Bailu, 13, Contractor, Detailed Materials. The rank 25th Defense Star Lei Heng. Su Xing was taken aback, however, he saw that the realm of 10,000 Technique 6th stage was apparently ever so slightly inferior to 10 feet of blue Hunyangzi. Hu Sanyang, you killed my sect elder. Today, you will pay with your life. That Star Master Bailu shouted. More than 60 flying swords moved out like specters, descending. Su Xing commanded Lengia and Heaven Tearing to go block. 10,000-year evil suppressing gem bamboo. Yuer. 14, do not let them go. Zealous desire blossomed in Bai Li's eyes. Winged Tiger Lei Heng wanted to stop, but seeing her own master was already attacking, the girl could not hesitate anymore. Patting the Star Beast Heavenly Wing Fierce Tiger, she had it assist her master in battle, attacking Su Xing together. Lei Heng was very clear only this would allow them any chance. There was no need to mention that she herself was going to get rid of 10 feet of blue. Hu Sanyang, do you still wish to run? Lei Yu jumped down, the flying tiger retreating forest saber in her hand emitting a biting cold light. Not even death can excuse the crimes of you devil sects. Remembering the suffering slaughter of Wang Ying, Hunyangzi's eyes burned with cold fire, raising her body to go forth. Little sister dares to be arrogant. Lei Yu shouted. Ka-cha! Lei Yu suddenly swept horizontally towards Hunyangzi's figure that was fluttering like mist. The broadsword shook out a tiger's hiss, purple thunder fire suddenly wrapping around the blade. The winged tigers surprisingly brandished a several hundred zhang terrifying thunderlight, just like an enormous tornado that took shape from her blade, forming an arc that suddenly spread. Wherever it passes, Hunyangzi's phantoms that formed because of her speed reacted as if they had met with the glow of the sun's rays, instantly dissipating. The entire earth quaked. Her figure turned around in midair. Hunyangzi's phantoms abruptly became even faster, continuously twisting several times. Suddenly, she broke away from the range of the defense star Lei Yu's saber chi. There was another thunder-like explosion, and another, resounding in the sky, but the distance seemed to widen. After continuously evading, Hunyangzi suddenly turned back light as smoke. Guang! 16, a terrifying enormous noise. Instantly, the tiger's mouth burst. A powerful to the extreme and terrifying force abruptly exploded on Hunyangzi's double sabers. The dull gold murderous aura and ocean blue saber chi fused together, raising an unimaginably illusory aura of death. Suddenly, it shook defense star Lei Yu's charge, and immediately after, bounced back with an even faster speed. In the sky, defense star Lei Yu's body seemed to shudder endlessly. The edges of her hands were already blood red. Yellow rank saber technique, hate transmission. What? Defense star Lei Heng's heart was alarmed, lifting her gaze as she rolled away. In her line of sight, that young girl as faintly discernible as mist, as illusory as dust, suddenly appeared. Wearing that sexy bodice, with her eyes more tranquil and more deep than the sea, Golden Wind and Morning Dew were like an absolute defense that closely protected her front. Of course, what made Defense Star Lei Yu feel disbelief even more was that the little sister in front of her could be so terrifying, completely exceeding Lei Yu's expectations. Impossible. How could Defense Star Lei Yu, as a heavenly star, be willing to be beaten back by ranked 59th Bright Star? In her fury, Defense Star Lei Yu raised her broadsword, killing intent wildly gushing forth. Meanwhile, Su Xing and the Winged Tiger's Star Beasts and Star Master were in a 1-on-2 battle. However powerful this Star Beast was, Su Xing also was not a pushover. Bright Star Hu Sanyang's innate skill light smoke dance steps immediately showed its presence. Su Xing's figure became faster than ever before. He felt amazed and was apparently even more nimble. Under the overbearing attack, he was even more easygoing, and in Bai Li's eyes, Su Xing's body techniques were truly agile. Can you only run? Coward. An artifact was raised. Su Xing truly did not understand why the galaxy late-stage cultivator before him would come star duel with him. Revenge? Su Xing definitely did not feel this was a very good reason. However, seeing Bai Li's eyes show madness for the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo, he could somewhat understand. As well, his star general was a heavenly star of boundless power, and she had the star beast Heavenly Wing Fierce Tiger as assistance in battle against Su Xing, which appeared to be fierce, but it was actually he who had an enormous advantage. Of course, it had to be mentioned that this Bai Lu honestly thought Su Xing was only capable of flying swords. However, I've no interest in playing with you. I definitely want to leave behind a good impression in front of this new wife. Su Xing's eyes flickered with an acute light. Suddenly, his hand patted his astral bag, and a watery dragon net flew out. The water-splitting dragon binding net was the first magic weapon he obtained after he killed Ancestor Bailey so long ago at Grindstone Mountain. Now, Su Xing's cultivation had reached supercluster, which was enough to refine it. The water-splitting dragon binding net suddenly expanded, covering the Heavenly Wing Fierce Tiger and Bai Lu. Bai Lu shouted, only then showing fear. However, was this not a bit too late? Dark Rank Saber Technique, 2 Tigers Bear Wind. Lei Yu slashed with the flying tiger retreating forest saber, furious to the extreme, her aggression bursting out. Countless saber winds exploded from all directions without any blind spots or gaps, attacking Bright Star Hunyangzi. The saber chi appeared to be countless wings that flapped and shot incorporeal lights at Hunyangzi, covering her. Then, before Hunyangzi could retreat, a second yellow rank technique flying stream scuttling sky slash immediately followed after, the saber's tip directly grazing Hunyangzi's beautiful mane. Bright Star Hunyangzi was not at all scared by this sort of pressure. Her gaze was more icy and more tranquil than polar ice. On the verge of the moment the saber tip was about to touch her, 10 feet of blue suddenly moved to the side, her speed strangely quick. A line of blood immediately spurted out, the murderous aura of 2 techniques chained together completely ignored Hunyangzi's star energy defenses. Instantly, a ghastly wound was drawn along the girl's right shoulder. But the girl did not even wrinkle her brow. She did not hesitate to suffer a wound as the price, flashing to within 20 meters of her opponent. In the instant that Lei Yu's broadsword was too late to return, 10 feet of blue was like a viper, suddenly attacking after the ice over. The next instant, a line of golden light left the girl's palm. Golden Wind, in that instant broke through the limits of speed. The saber tip was in front, and Golden Wind became a sharp arrow, its tip carrying a violent gale, shooting directly at Lei Yu. Little sister still does not withdraw. The defense star gnashed her teeth. The flying tiger retreating forest saber suddenly emitted a violent killing intent, and then the entire thing burned. It instantly formed a forbid dance that obstructed the young girl. Being stopped by this unanticipated defense, the girl's sword suddenly slowed, but immediately, the ocean blue light of Morning Dew simultaneously rose. Golden Wind and Morning Dew crisscrossed, and the saber chi crumbled. Instantly flashing away from Lei Yu's attack, the saber tip aimed at the girl's heart. Not good. Lei Yu's heart pounded, spinning her saber to go block. 10 feet of blue Hunyangzi's phantom suddenly dropped. After the double sabers were once again blocked, she simultaneously danced, and stars fell into the void. Astonishingly, this was her dark rank saber technique, Flying Star Magpie Dance. Lei Yu was honestly a bold and powerful character. Resounding sparks flickered in the sky. Once again, the broadsword and double sabers already clashed together. Lei Yu was prepared to retreat, but she suddenly sensed her body was not under her control. The golden wind and morning dew double sabers once again drew a bold and moving trajectory. What made the defense star Lei Yu feel even more surprised was that the saber tip brushed past her neck, making the defense star astonished into a cold sweat. Consecutive dark rank technique? Lei Yu suddenly remembered the earthly star little sister in front of her that she disdained was capable of consecutive dark ranks. Oh, no. When Lei Yu realized this, the misty figure instantly flashed before the astonished Lei Yu. The bright star practically did not hesitate. Her double sabers once again drew an amazing arc, and seawater reflected the golden sand. The double sabers were no longer sabers, but even more like a rainbow. Courting death. Lei Yu in the end shouted, hacking with her broadsword. During a cry that was like air being split apart, the target was sliced apart. But that was merely a shadow. It is over. Hunyangzi used her mysterious dance steps to quietly appear behind, the light-like double sabers slashing. Even so, Lei Yu's reactions were extremely quick. She spun around to block, the broadsword's edge spraying sparks. At the same time, countless blades of light fell from the sky. Her expression slightly distressed, Hunyangzi's golden wind and morning dew once again missed. Twinkling flames and light rays fluctuated and faded. The third consecutive dark rank technique made Lei Yu thoroughly stupefied. She wanted to flee. Suddenly, her head hurt, and she spat blood. Young master. Farewell. Hunyangzi softly said. Lei Yu saw that the double sabers had already stuck into her stomach, killing intent diffusing through her body. As expected of you, Lei Yu bitterly smiled. Her figure vanished. Bai Lu was trapped by the water-splitting dragon-binding net. How could this galaxy cultivator resist against such a magic weapon? Trapped by this, Su Xing naturally would not allow him to escape. Langya's sword chi became threads and then easily made this silly man dead, scattered ash and dust. Losing her contractor's star nest, Lei Yu was unable to resurrect after Hunyangzi slayed her. Her crimson star suddenly fell into Su Xing's body, and the heavenly wing fierce tiger immediately disappeared, howling in grief incessantly. Wife, are you alright? Hunyangzi lost her strength and fell from the sky. 3 consecutive dark rank flying star magpie dance was her limit, and this was thanks to the support of Su Xing's supercluster cultivation. Otherwise, how could 10 feet of blue have exerted herself so smoothly? Su Xing caught her, his expression brimming with deep concern. Although the pair had not known each other for long, to Su Xing, this was not a problem of time. Hunyangzi's apparently eternally gentle expression gazed at Su Xing somewhat oddly. Perhaps she had forced a contract onto a pretty good master, the bright star's heart deeply sighed. Nyangzi always will not disgrace dear husband. Su Xing smiled, understanding her intentions. Wife, will you go to the Black Turtle Sea? First, sleep well, forget those unpleasant things, thank you. Hunyangzi's imperceptible smile instantly faded. At a corner of the Black Turtle Territory's Black Turtle Sea, there was an island known as Shin Fragrance. Shin Fragrance Island had a water fort constructed with 3 moats and high mountains in great numbers. This water fort was built into thousands of mountain walls. 4 palace halls each had their own characteristics, established across the mountain range. At first glance, they blended in with the mountains. Countless cultivators patrolled the halls of the mountain palaces, with hundreds of cultivators currently drilling in sword arrays across the several training grounds on the island, their power vast and awe-inspiring within 100 li of sea area. This water fort was known as Three Ruan's Water Fort, 2, manifestly superior among the Black Turtle Sea's 88 water forts, and was also an up-and-coming sect, discussed with much renown among the water fort masters. On this day, the ocean waves split the sky. An enormously built alligator made a beeline for the Three Ruan's water fort. This ancient dragon alligator was unexcelled, and the cultivators at the water fort were somewhat fearful just looking at it. Upon seeing the ancient dragon alligator's master, they withdrew even further away. Ruan Pinga rode the ancient dragon alligator straight through the water fort's front gate. The signboard on the gate had 3 bold characters written upon it, the Golden Lotus. 3. Second boss, you have returned. A subordinate said in surprise. And the big boss? Pinga asked. Currently inside the main hall, negotiating with the other fort masters. Take good care of my Pingzi. If it feels wronged in any way, I will feed you to him. Ruan Pinga showed an evil grin. Her counterpart shuddered. Clearly, he knew Ruan Pinga's personality. Turning over the ancient dragon alligator over for care, Ruan Pinga went straight for the main hall. The water fort's big boss Ruan Jiner, 5, was a considerably powerful and greedy woman. She was beautiful, and her eyes displayed her might. It was precisely because of her forceful methods that the Three Ruan's water fort's range of influence already extended to several thousand of the Black Turtle Sea's islands, like the sun at noon. As early as the moment Ruan Pinga used the ancient alligator dragon's surfacing movements, Ruan Jiner knew that she had returned. It appeared this fifth sister again had suffered some provocation on the outside. Ruan Jiner was inwardly helpless. She dismissed the other island masters, cave masters, and fort masters. Elder Sister Jean. As expected, the main hall's doors were kicked open. Ruan Pinga had grievances all over her face as she dashed into Ruan Jiner's bosom, enjoying her ample softness while also grievously saying, Elder Sister Jean, decide for Pinga. Pinga, what disaster did you run into now? Did Elder Sister not inform you that the Black Turtle territory has devil palaces and devil cults? If you provoke them, they will make Elder Sister very distressed. Ruan Jiner stroked Ruan Pinga's head, tenderly as if she was petting a kitten. Even her reproachful tone was full of doting. As if I would provoke those demons. Ruan Pinga was even more hurt. She naturally knew those devil cults handled things secretly and viciously. There was safety in their identities as star generals so long as they did not provoke the devil sects, but if they did, then truly, things would not be so peaceful. Then who has made Pinga feel wronged? Ruan Jiner smiled. A star master. Star master. Ruan Jiner's smile froze. Yes, Pinga listened to Elder Sister's orders to go to Lone Dragon Mound to find that Black Turtle Temple that is a jack of all trades in information and found it. Mentioning Su Xing, Ruan Pinga had a somewhat fervently evil desire. That Star Master is Supercluster Stage, only by himself, and without having signed a Star Dual Covenant? Is he really Supercluster Stage? Ruan Jiner asked. All Star Generals had a reaction to their desired Star Master, 6, and in the case they signed a contract, they would become a comprehensive Star Master. 7. At the current stage, Star Masters that reached Supercluster Stage without signing a contract were outstanding talents beyond compare. Such a Star Master could only have been possibly nurtured by top-notch great sects. I did not see wrongly. Although in the end Hu Sanyang came and stirred up trouble, she seemed to also have taken him away, I can be certain. Ruan Pinga mentioned this with some anger. If it was not for her being unable to defeat Hu Sanyang, that Supercluster Stage already would have been brought back to the water fort. Elder Sister Jean, let us go capture him together. Ruan Pinga's tone greatly had a sort of feeling as if she was treating Su Xing as a star beast. Ruan Jiner's eyes narrowed, her eyes carrying some thoughtfulness. Pinga, it appears you really want to sign a contract. Huh, not at all. I only want to bring him back to show him to elder and little sister. Wan Pinger cruelly smiled. Maybe elder and little sister will fancy him. Humph, we sisters are 3 people of the same mind. There is no need for any star master, Wan Jiner solemnly smiled, absolutely without any intent of kidding around. I know. Wan Pinger pursed her lips. As long as you know, however, supercluster stage star masters are indeed not too common at the current stage. Right now, the 3rd phase is already about to conclude. Pinger, pay attention. Understood. Ruang Pinger affirmed. She looked around the main hall and asked, why do I not see 3rd sister? Mayor has gone to find the white stripe in the waves. Ha, that woman. Ruang Pinger let out a cruel laugh, whatever for. Zhang Shun is a powerful water general. If we can have her join our water fort, naturally, we will be like a tiger that has grown wings in the future star duels. And if we cannot, Wan Pinger evilly said. Wan Jiner confidently smiled, so long as she is alone, there will always be a way to make her do so. Under Hun Yangzi's directions, Su Xing very quickly found the Black Turtle Sea. However, upon seeing this Black Turtle Sea, Su Xing honestly was anxious. The Black Turtle Sea was boundless. This was the number 1 sea in the Black Turtle territory, with no limit in its millions of li. The dangers of the sea included many 8th, 9th, and 10th rank demon beasts which were even more commonplace to encounter. To search for Gen Wu divine iron in such waters was no different from finding a needle in a haystack. Dear husband, what are you doing? The Hun Yangzi sitting on the blood-sweat silver hair horse said. Does wife know where to find Gen Wu divine iron? Su Xing suddenly wanted to change methods. Hun Yangzi shook her head. Su Xing also knew that he himself was somewhat delusional. Who would bring out something like the Gen Wu divine iron to trade? To sell it, it could only be at the treasure feast, but he did not have any more time to wait. Su Xing stated his objective. Hun Yangzi moved about the Black Turtle territory all year round. Clearly, she had her own perspective about things that happened in the Black Turtle Sea. Dear husband is taking too great a risk. Nyangzi has only heard of Gen Wu divine iron being at a depth of 10,000 li. The Black Turtle territory's top-notch cultivators do not dare rashly dive in. Hun Yangzi did not approve of Su Xing's methods. The Black Turtle Sea's depth of 10,000 li would have powerful water pressure. This water pressure would increase in strength by several hundred-fold at a time. After millions of li, even supervoid cultivators would need to be cautious. Furthermore, the demon beasts in the deep sea were extremely vigorous. Rank 10 and above demon beasts all dwelled at the sea floor. There was no difference between going to the Black Turtle Sea's depths and going to hell. Unless dear husband has the assistance of a very powerful water-type star general, otherwise, Nyangzi will first of all stop dear husband from doing this. Hun Nyangzi's tone allowed for no explanation, her face full of determination. She certainly did not wish to let Su Xing drown before she achieved her revenge. Su Xing had already made sufficient preparations before coming here. Tang Lianxin had refined a water avoidance pearl, 8, and Ensuan had refined several pills for the dive. Otherwise, Su Xing would never come up with this idea. I have my own propriety, I'll test this first. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. Fine then. Hun Yangzi could only compromise and enter the star nest. Su Xing first ate one of the pills, and holding in one hand the water avoidance pearl, he released star energy to protect himself. He blossomed the meditative mind lotus flower, activating an Akala Wisdom King Vajrabhati technique. 9. This power was Buddhism's supreme grade defensive ability. It could allow the flesh to become sturdier than metal or stone. Impervious to blade and spear, impenetrable to water and fire, it was more powerful than some magic weapons. Originally, even if Su Xing used the 5 dragons lantern to cultivate it, it would take a great amount of time, but with Zhao Hanyan's Bodhi holy fruit, in less than a day, he was already at the Hinayana realm. Only after everything had been prepared did Su Xing then take a deep breath and become an escape light that dove into the ocean depths. The Black Turtle Sea had water pressure, and the speed after the escape light flew down several tens of thousands of li slowed. Furthermore, at this time, the deep sea already could not see the slightest bit of light. The pitch darkness was just like the space of the 9 hells. Su Xing's divine intent gradually felt taxed under the effects of the water pressure, and he could only continuously retract its range. From 1,000 li to several dozen li. After a long while, the eating more than 10, Dragon King life conferring mind returning pills, 10, along the way, Su Xing only felt a terrifying force squeeze him. Like 10,000 mountains, his star energy defense had long already crumbled. Su Xing relied on his toughened body to resist. Legend said this Black Turtle Sea was spat out by the Black Turtle Divine Beast. This seawater was immersed in the Black Turtle's power for 10,000 years. Each droplet of the seawater had the heaviness of 1,000 caddies, not at all a river. However, it was precisely because of this that the Black Turtle Sea could create Liangshan continent's divine iron that was top-notch in hardness. The deeper a person went, the more it felt like they were being encased in cement, stifled and unable to breathe. If it was not for Su Xing possessing star nests that were nearly superior to Liangshan continent's supervoid cultivators, his consciousness that was powerful to such an abnormal degree, after the depth of 600,000 li, he would have already been squeezed into a meaty pulp. Dear husband. Hun Yangzi's voice already was somewhat irascible. Su Xing indifferently continued to dive further. It was difficult to imagine that Liangshan continent's ocean depths could be so deep. The Earth's ocean depths could not be compared at all. At a rough estimate, perhaps it was at a depth of about 800,000 li. Only then did Su Xing finally encounter a ground of muddy sand. At this time, Su Xing extended his divine consciousness to encompass a range of barely even a bit outside of his body. The star energy of his whole body was being consumed by a sort of formless pressure at a terrifying rate. Su Xing once again ingested pills, and walking along the ocean floor, the sensation of being in water and on land was completely different. He made progress with great difficulty, unable to move a single step, particularly in the surrounding darkness. However, Su Xing still could sense ice-cold presences in this world of deep darkness. Perhaps it was those demon beasts. Dear husband, do not force yourself. Hun Yangzi was somewhat jittery. If I shrink back at even this little thing, how can you still mention revenge? Su Xing asked back. Bright Star 10 feet of blue was stunned, and no longer did she speak words of giving up. Although they had reached the ocean depths, the next thing to do was find Zhen Wu divine iron, which also made Su Xing feel awkward. With the ocean being so deep, how should he go search? Now that things were at this stage, he could only slowly progress. A little more than a month should do. Penetrating past the 15th layer of the tomb, Wu Xinjie and Shi Yuan finally arrived at the final floor after enduring countless hardships. Good heavens, it never ends. If we go any further, this young lady is about to go mad. The feeling of staying in this ancient tomb for a long time made Shi Yuan, the best thief under heaven, somewhat unable to continue. This should be the final floor. Wu Xinjie smiled. If only, elder sister. Shi Yuan was helpless. This young lady certainly does not wish to spend this month entirely on this ancient tomb. Although it was a legendary 7 great ancient tomb, the final floor's stone gate was very simple. The surroundings had 2 connecting heaven beast totems. Wu Xinjie did not need much thought to open the final layer's gate. The 2 girls held their breath, and even Hua Shue's whole body was on guard. The instant the door opened, the scene that greeted them immediately made the pair stunned. What appeared in Wu Xinjie and Shi Yuan's eyes was an unbelievably bizarre subterranean world. Below was a boundless black abyss, a refined palace hall, very imposing warrior and horse statues, and every sort of funerary beast and figurine hung suspended in the air. These warrior and horse statues still kept a first-rate appearance. The weapons and armored horses were all poised to kill. Taking survey of everything, these statues were densely packed and numerous, a magnificent army not just in name but in reality. Besides these floating chariots, soldier and beast statues, a continuous palace hall was even more jaw-dropping. That palace hall's entirety exceeded a kilometer in size, its whole body a jade white, emitting a cold glint in this underground mausoleum, with its jade rooms and jasper buildings, perfect sculptures and detailed paintings. As far as the eye could see, how could this be a tomb at all? It was obviously the palace of an immortal. Even the experienced and knowledgeable Knowledge Star and the well-traveled Thief Star were stupefied, stunned. Truly, what a pity that young lord did not come, otherwise, he definitely would have been very happy. Wu Xinjie muttered to herself. Su Xing always held a certain interest in all of Liangshan's mysteries. Perhaps he would be wild over something like these hovering statues inside of a palace within a 10,000 zhang abyss. Even her own blood was boiling. Shi Yuan swept away her previous dejection, finally understanding why this tomb would be called one of Liangshan continent's 7 great ruins. Seeing these millions of hovering troops, horses, and palaces, they truly seemed to lead to the heavenly temple. Without mentioning the dozen or so floors from before, even 100 floors would have been worth it. Right now is the time for this young lady to fully display her skills. Shi Yuan rubbed her palms and wringed her wrists, long already impatient. Seeing that enormous main hall's domineering size, she imagined that the treasures inside would be many. Careful. Wu Xinjie reminded her about the abyss at their feet. There was no hope of reprieve should they tumble down. Shi Yuan patted her chest, an expression of, "Leave it to me. Little Qi." She called, and the 3 burrows crafty rabbit hopped out. "Take a look for me." The 3 burrows crafty rabbit nodded, opening its 3 eyes wide, becoming a specter. The 3 burrows crafty rabbit possessed the ability to scan for traps and react to treasures. Under its guidance, they could save a lot of trouble. "Let us go then," Wu Xinjie said, releasing a flight astral tool, entering this connecting heaven ancient tomb together. Probably a short while after they left, a woman quietly walked over. She wore an exquisite, blue skin-tight palace dress that outlined her slender figure. The corners of her skirt separated, like lightly dancing waves. The girl's hair was not only extremely long, it was also especially beautiful. Her ice blue hair cascaded past her butt, just like a waterfall amidst ice and snow, emitting bits of ice. Her pupils, too, were icy, and her lips were cold, making one feel a sort of chill within. Is this the connecting heaven ancient tomb? It is truly decorated quite elegantly, however, why do I still feel that an explosion is even more beautiful? A young girl walked out from the void. She had a long, golden ponytail, and she had a sexy figure and clothing. She showed a toothy grin, speaking aloud. "Han Bing, what do we do now? Do we greet the sisters?" The young girl blinked, a very expectant expression. "The thief star Shi Qian. Monitor them for the time being." The girl named Han Bing narrowed her slender eyes, gazing at the end of the ancient tomb. "Dear husband, careful." While Wu Xinjie and Shi Yuan finally saw the connecting heaven ancient tomb, Su Xing's search for Zhen Wu divine iron in the Black Turtle Sea was not so successful. He had not been searching for the needle in a haystack for long. Just as Su Xing was searching for materials inside the seafloor's reef, the stone beneath his feet suddenly revolted, opening an enormous mouth to swallow Su Xing. The Su Xing that had been tormented to extreme weakness by the close to million-li deep sea completely was too late against this swift as lightning reaction and was swallowed. Hu Nianzi anxiously blurted out, and the girl emerged from the star nest. Golden wind and morning dew danced and crossed. Before that demon beast could bring Su Xing to its stomach, a snowflake-like saber chi flew out in volumes. Then, 12 golden swordlights broke out of its body. The demon beast spat out Su Xing and Hunyangzi in pain. It still isn't dead. Su Xing was stunned. That demon beast furiously opened its mouth again. In a split second, an inexhaustible suction rushed towards its mouth. The seawater was completely sucked into it, and the powerful suction made Su Xing somewhat unable to budge. Have some purple mansion immortal thunder. Su Xing's 5 fingers snapped. 5 purple thunder dragon pythons struck. The powerful and scathing purple thunder pulled incomparably thin by the deep sea's attractive force, and by the time it reached the gigantic demon beast's mouth, it was just like an offering of tasty little fish. Su Xing said, "Fuck." He controlled heaven tearing in preparation to go clash, but his control over these flying swords was much more difficult than on land. The powerful pressure forced Su Xing's use of flying swords or other abilities to require even greater energy expenditure than normal. This meant that flying swords completely lost their edge. The gigantic demon beast's mouth fiercely sucked, and an airflow entered its bottomless mouth. Hunyangzi was slightly pulled over. In the water, the bright star's weakness was not necessarily as easy as Su Xing. Su Xing could be considered to have tasted the terror of the 10,000 li deep sea. Immediately, he raised the green lotus peak. Because all abilities suffered pressure in the deep sea, they would be substantially weakened, and prehistoric spirit treasures were no exception. However, Su Xing's green lotus peak was inherently categorized as that sort of powerful spirit treasure. The green lotus peak rapidly enlarged in the water. The moment the spirit treasure emerged, those airflow being sucked in immediately slowed, greatly easing the burden on Su Xing and Hu Sanyang. The giant demon beast felt fear, retracting its mouth, about to flee. The green lotus peak's flames ignited, and the giant peak pressed down, squishing this demon beast into meat paste, and a pellet appeared. Su Xing retrieved it in passing. Panting, before he could feel happiness for killing this demon beast, but fuck, how could he be happy when he had only just encountered his first demon beast and had to use the prehistoric spirit treasure? Su Xing consumed a pill to replenish his star energy. Before he had even half a moment to relax, an incorporeal pressure attacked from all sides. "Dear husband, hurry and flee!" Hu Sanyang shouted. The golden light and blue flame of the double sabers became even more intense. The green lotus peak's enormous quaking had roused the deep sea's demon beasts. Tens of thousands of black monster fish swam over. Su Xing only heard a rumble come from every direction. The ocean depths shook, and some demon beasts that had only been snooping on Su Xing immediately escaped without a trace. "Run, quickly!" Su Xing sensed something formidable, immediately speaking. Without hesitation, he turned around and escaped towards the ocean surface. In the ocean depths, a monstrous call was increasingly frightening. A school of spiny monster fish tumbled over each other as they bit their way over. Su Xing attacked with several bolts of purple mansion immortal thunder, destroying close to 100 fishes, but the numbers of these spiny monster fish were too numerous. Several detonations were unable to support such a menacing charge. The spiny monster fish's charge looked to be nearly unstoppable. Continuously flying several dozen li, Su Xing suddenly noticed the pressure of the monster fish had abated, not pursuing. Just as he felt this was odd, he turned his head to look. To his astonishment, Hu Sanyang was not following him, rather, she turned around and stayed where she was, serving as bait. Bright star 10 feet of blue's double sabers danced. The saber chi was gorgeously slashed out. All of the spiny monster fish were killed into disordered heaps, and immediately afterwards, another bunch of countless monster fish filled the gap, seemingly endless. Hunyangzi's saber technique began to become weak, and her body techniques gradually slowed. After all, she was not a water general at all. Every wave of her blade in a deep-sea battle required her maximum concentration, but 10 feet of blue's eyes were fiery, completely without fear, thinking only of letting Su Xing quickly escape. The tide surged with a gurgle. An even more expansive black tide pounced over. Hun Yangzi powerlessly raised her double sabers. The black tide swallowed her. Hun Yangzi was already prepared to star release when just at this moment, a golden dragon rolled around her body, creating a gap. What are you doing? Su Xing appeared in front of her. Hun Yangzi changed. Dear husband, what are you doing by coming back? Nonsense, what would I do by not coming back? Su Xing's expression was very unsightly. Hun Yangzi felt bewildered. The demon beast monster fishes here are too numerous. Nyangzi will protect, dear husband can leave first. Saying this, she was about to attack the invading black tide. Her white wrist was firmly seized. Su Xing did not hesitate at all to carry her away and use the escape technique to escape upwards. Dear husband. Hun Yangzi was stunned, not understanding why Su Xing would rescue her. So long as the contractor that the Star General signed a contract with did not die, then neither could the Star General be destroyed. Now that the danger was critical, using her as bait could not be any more appropriate. Otherwise, the both of them could possibly lose their life in this place. If you can live, then why must you die? Su Xing coldly answered her conjectures. Forming a hand seal, the 12 heaven-tearing cried out a shaking dragon roar. Su Xing repeatedly used his powers, Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder, the heaven-tearing flying swords, and every sort of magic weapon without any reservation. But the true name of these spiny monster fish was Nether Fish, the overlord of the sea depths of 10,000 li. Individual nether fish were unable to withstand a single blow, but in greater numbers, in the case they found prey, they would fight to the last gasp. This was also a reason why even though people knew the Black Turtle Sea's ocean floor had Gen Wu Divine Iron, few people would face this risk. The black tide quickly was about to submerge them, and Su Xing gnashed his teeth. In the deep sea, all of his abilities were substantially weakened, otherwise, things would be unlikely to be this bad. Could it be he had to use the chaotic escape technique again? Just as he was considering this, Hun Yangzi's expression flashed with an irascible light. Suddenly, she waved a hand, and the golden jade short saber shot forth. What are you doing? Su Xing was surprised. Hun Yangzi did not answer. That short saber revolved around their surroundings, the flowing golden light appearing especially dazzling in this pitch-dark ocean depth. The short saber became a storm that wrapped around the two. Su Xing immediately felt the pressure lessen. He promptly used the escape technique at full power. A golden wind and sharp sword pierced through. In the blink of an eye, they broke free of the danger zone. Those nether fishes did not continue their chase, and they could only wretchedly shriek as they gradually dove back into the depths. Let's go back first for now. Su Xing panted. This Gen Wu Divine Iron is indeed not so easy. If we can have a water general, then dear husband can be at ease. Hun Yangzi said. Did Nyangzi disturb the matter between dear husband and Wan Xiaowu? The bright star carelessly moved. It was nothing. Su Xing smiled. To speak of water generals, other than Wan Xiaowu from before, he recalled the white stripe in the waves that he had met inside Evil Smiting Hall. The girl gave him a pretty good impression. He had heard then that she was also at the Black Turtle territory, but with the Black Turtle territory being so large, to find her was not too realistic. Hun Yangzi said no more. Golden wind tore apart the white waves. Boom! Su Xing and Hun Yangzi breached the water's surface into the sunlight. Ah! At the same time, Su Xing conveniently caught sight of a young girl currently laying on the sea, in the middle of a relaxing backstroke. Her fair skin was not covered by a single thread, and her youthful body appeared especially moving in the middle of the azure sea. Every place on the girl's body could be seen at once. Su Xing was tongue-tied. The young girl similarly was stupefied. Su Xing. Zhang Yuqi. 2. The both of them shouted at the same time, "You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories." Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.